He's about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
This
slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone!
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Back where it all ended, the Blue Jays land at Target Field in Minnesota tonight after winning the majority of the 5 games in Boston. Toronto now battles in the place they fell in the wild card series last season. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into this series opener. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host and producer, and our technical director is Tom Young. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Brockville and Cornwall, Ontario. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Just like Game 1 of the Wild Card Series last year, Kevin Gausman takes the ball against Pablo Lopez. Gausman is trying to exercise demons tonight and beat a Twins team that has great success against him in his career. First pitch coming up next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming at sportsnet.ca, the Sportsnet app, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
So, you want to be a Looney Dogger, eh? Every Tuesday Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Plus, stop by the Schneider's Porch, your hot dog headquarters. The destination for a one-of-a-kind hot dog experience with excellent ballpark views. So, whether you're the relish ringleader or 7th-inning snacker, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. Don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and host of the award-winning podcast, Black Diamonds. This week, we reflect on the historic Major League Baseball game played at Rickwood Field, once the home of the Birmingham Black Barons.
They never lost their love for the game, and they never lost hope for what America could become. So it gave me the idea and the feeling that maybe you should continue to hold on to hope.
Listen to Black Diamonds right now on the all-new SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Blue Jays fans, no matter where you are, you won't miss a pitch with the SiriusXM app. Hear every game all season long. Download the SiriusXM app and search Blue Jays.
That Radio Network.
Finger on that bunt. First pitch to Masataka Yoshida, lifted to center field, and Dalton Varsho makes the catch to end the inning. How about the minimum through 5 for Bowden Francis has not allowed a hit yet, and the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead to the 6th.
Bowden bleeping Francis. 5th inning was like, he was just in total control. I mean, he's got such a good way about him, mentally, physically, execution-wise. His pitch mix is awesome. Not much more to say.
That was Blue Jays manager John Schneider after yesterday's win for Toronto. They took down the Boston Red Sox 2-0, and it was large in part to the effort from Bowden Francis. He was great again, and the Blue Jays ended up with a winning 5 games in Boston. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Game 1 of Blue Jays Twins about to start. And Chris, it's right back where they were last year when everything kind of went south for the Blue Jays in the wild card series in the ballpark where they were swept by the Twins in 2 games.
Yeah, obviously it was a sour end to last year's pretty solid season, but I think that the Blue Jays are in a different mindset now. It's not playoff time. It's not win or go home. It's let's see the young guys. Let's perform like we can. Let's have some fun out there. There's really no pressure on this team right now. I'm excited to see this team actually over the next 3 weeks or so really make a push, not for the playoffs. That's a little bit unrealistic, but just make a push to show everybody that we have guys in Buffalo that can play. We have guys that can perform next year and get the Blue Jays to the playoffs. And let's be honest, Kevin Gausman, in his last performance, in his last start against the Angels, he looked like vintage Kevin Gausman. The fastball was there. The split finger was nasty. I mean, Bowden Francis is great, but Kevin Gausman is a very close second.
We will see Gausman against Pablo Lopez in just a couple of minutes. But before we get to first pitch, let's go back to our host today. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, guys. Welcome back inside Baseball Control, everyone. Show Ali with you. Before we check out the standings, let's hear a little bit about Nathan Lucas, who was called up today. Stuart Baroa sent back down in his place. Lucas will be in the lineup tonight. Blue Jays TV play-by-play voice Dan Schulman joining Ailish Forfar and Jesse Rubinoff to discuss the call-up. Here's Ailish starting us off.
Were you surprised that it was Nathan Lucas? Because I know there's going to be a couple people running for those call-up spots when the calendar flips to September. Maybe Jake Bloss is one of them. But they gave Lucas that opportunity in spring training, and we were so excited about it, and he didn't make the team. Then he got injured. So I'm curious who you think might fill that other role, and if you were surprised at all that it was Nathan Lucas.
I was not surprised it was Lucas. So I think Lucas would have made the team if he had been a right-handed batter. I think he just got caught because Varsho and Kiermaier were left-handed batters. That when those guys were going to sit, it was probably against a lefty, so they would rather have a right-handed bat. They were still, hoping they would get power out of Daniel Vogelbach. He was on the team. I think Lucas, and it's not his fault. Lucas is, in my opinion, a major league player, and he had a really good spring, and I think he deserved to make the team. He just got caught in a roster construction flaw on this team, to be honest with you, and then he hurt his thumb. He was doing great, and then he tore a ligament in his thumb, missed a couple of months. Now he's back. I think he deserves it, and I think they almost feel like they owe him something. Maybe that's not true at all, but I think I would because, he's 30 years old. He's not a kid, and he could have had a couple of years of service time in the big leagues already, and it just hasn't worked out for him. So I think he's up because Loperfido maybe needs another day or two before he can play. Baroa's been here a while, wasn't playing very much. They're going to send him back down, let him play. So there's still one more position player and one more pitcher coming.
That is Dan Schulman, the TV voice of the Blue Jays. You can catch that whole conversation on the Fan Pregame podcast feed if you are so inclined. Nathan Lucas batting 8th in tonight's lineup for the Blue Jays. All right, let's check on the Bet365 standings, where you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game is still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. In the AL East, entering play today, New York. They are 78-56. Baltimore 77-58. The Red Sox are 69-65. The Rays are 66-67, and the Blue Jays are 66-70. They take on the Twins, who are 72-61. Speaking of Nathan Lucas, here is John Schneider's full lineup. Dalton Varsho is batting leadoff. He's in center field. Will Wagner is batting second and second base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is batting third. It's a DH day for Vladdy. Batting cleanup is Spencer Horwitz. He is at first base. In right field is Addison Barger. He is batting fifth. Batting sixth is Alejandro Kirk. He is catching. Ernie Clement at third base, batting seventh. Batting eighth, Nathan Lucas. He's in left field. And Leo Jimenez is batting ninth. He's at shortstop. Kevin Gausman will pitch for the Blue Jays. For the Twins, Willie Castro is leading off. He is at shortstop. Trevor Larnach is in left field. Batting second, batting third is Royce Lewis. He is at third base. Matt Wallner is cleaning up. He is in right field. Batting fifth is Edward Julien, Canada's own Edward Julien. He is at second base. Jose Miranda is batting sixth. He is DHing. Batting seventh is Carlos Santana at first base. Ryan Jeffers is catching, batting eighth. And batting ninth is Austin Martin. He is in center field. Pablo Lopez pitches for Minnesota. All right, we are getting very close to first pitch in the land of 10,000 lakes, so let's get you over to the action with the call of tonight's game. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The Blue Jays about to get going at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, and the first inning coming up, which is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Nice day in Minnesota, and the Twins now charging out onto the field in their more deep blue City Connect uniforms with some yellow hues and some lines across the jersey as well. For the Twins, the starting pitcher warming up is Pablo Lopez, a name that Blue Jays fans probably know pretty well. He started game one of the wild card last year, and this season, Lopez is 12-8 with a .426 earned run average in 26 starts. Not a great season for him right now, but he does have a great strikeout to walk ratio, 161 Ks to 33 walks in 148 innings. What are you looking for with Lopez on the mound?
Well, I tell you what, this guy has one of the best fastballs in all of Major League Baseball. When you talk about starting pitchers, he has a fastball that reaches 99 miles an hour. It's 97, 98, routinely a ton of life through the zone, a lot of run, and then he mixes in a big sweeper and that changeup that's pretty good. It's a hard changeup at 90 miles an hour, but when you throw 97 to 99 miles an hour, I mean, a changeup at 90 is still a lot slower, but he's one of my favorite guys to watch. Not doing well over the majority of this season, but over his last 3 starts, he's given up 2 earned runs in 19 innings. He is on a hot streak right now.
And enters having thrown 13 consecutive scoreless innings coming into this game. When he pitched against the Blue Jays in the playoffs last year, he took it into the 6th inning, gave up 1 run, and was the winner of the first playoff win in almost 2 full decades for Minnesota. He will look for a performance like that today against a very different Blue Jays team that leads off Dalton Varsho. Will also have Will Wagner and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hitting in the first. Umpires today are Lance Barksdale behind the plate, Derek Thomas at first, Nick Lentz at second, and Will Little at third. Blue Jays in their road grays, and we were about to get started. Varsho had stepped in the box, but now Lance Barksdale asks for time, or calls for time. He's in charge of it. Walks over toward the first base dugout and is having some sort of conversation with John Schneider, although it looked like a lighthearted one. And now Barksdale back behind the plate, and we're ready to go. Lopez, perpendicular to the plate, steps to the left, and the pitch. Fastball cut on and missed. Strike 1. Time of the first pitch is 8:11 Eastern, 7:11 local. 26 degrees Celsius and sunny in Minnesota. 0-1. Swing and a fly ball left field near the foul line, racing forward. The catch made by Trevor Larnach. 1 out. You dove into the pitch mix a little bit for Pablo Lopez. That mid-90s fastball, throws a sweeper a ton. Also a changeup for the righty, a curve, and a sinker. Pair of 4-seamers to Varsho to start his day. Now the pitch to Will Wagner. 4-seam fastball, strike 1. Only 3 pitches in, but the location has been very strong so far for Lopez. All right on that outside edge to the lefties. Next fastball just misses off the plate outside, 1-1.
Yeah, he's a guy with really good command. 33 walks this season and almost 150 innings. You know that he's going to be around the strike zone. You have to be ready to swing the bat.
His pitch. Fastball just misses high, 2-1.
Even those misses just outside of that strike zone, he never really has a big miss. He never really bounces those fastballs. Everything is hittable, but he does have a good mix.
Righty kicks and delivers. Swing and a ground ball off the bat of Wagner to the second baseman, Eddie Julien. And the Quebec City native throws out Wagner for the second out of the inning.
It's good to see Julien back in Minnesota. He's been up and down this season.
Yeah, we will see Julien batting maybe in the first, maybe in the second inning, hitting 5th today for the Twins. And now big cheers from the Blue Jays fans at Target Field as Montreal's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. steps in. 2 outs, base is empty, no score, top of the first. And the pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Swing and a fly ball, right field line, slicing out of play. Foul ball is strike 1.
There are a ton of royal blue jerseys, but again, The Minnesota Twins City Connect jerseys are a shade of royal blue, so it's hard to tell whether they're that City Connect jersey or whether it's Blue Jays fans in Minnesota.
0-1 pitch. Called a ball, but looked pretty good. 1-1. I lean it's more Blue Jays fans in the royal blue. Big contingent over the third base dugout for Toronto. 1-1. Called strike, fastball at the knees, and it's 1-2.
I'll tell you what, though, on City Connect night at Rogers Center, there are a ton of those pitch Navy jerseys.
That is true. Those did debut this year, but that is true. 2 down and the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a ground ball to short. Backhanded by Willie Castro. Pops up from a knee and bounces the throw to Carlos Santana, who makes the pick and ends the inning. On all fastballs, Pablo Lopez retires the Blue Jays in order in the top of the first. Kevin Gausman on the mound next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
The Blue Jays are inviting you to work from Dome. Put it in your calendar. 307 weekday starts this season. You can work from Dome with friends or coworkers at Rogers Center. It's a game changer. Make the ballpark your office for the afternoon. Work from Dome, 307 weekday starts. Let's touch base. Check out ticket options on BlueJays.com/workfromdome.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hey, this is Dalton Varsho. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ready or not, here I come.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue, Blue Jays in Minnesota. And it's the bottom of the first inning. No score between the Blue Jays and the Twins. Kevin Gausman out on the mound for his 27th start of the year. 12-9 with a 4.10 ERA. Righty's pitch to Willie Castro is a fastball that misses low. Ball 1. Gausman coming off a 7-inning, 2-hit, 1-run start at home against the Angels, where he walked none and struck out 10. 1-0 to Castro. Called strike at the knees, 1-1.
And in that start, it wasn't just the box score for me. It was the fastball velocity. It was the split finger action. He had such good depth to that split finger. He was a completely different guy in his last start.
1-1 fastball, plants it at the bottom of the zone, and it's 1-2.
He was routinely 94, 95, even some 96s in that game, just dotting that fastball down and away, up and in. He was pretty incredible in his last start.
Righty kicks and fires, and Castro lines it to right field. Barger moved in, now backs up and makes the catch right off his chest. And there's 1 out.
Alejandro Kirk wanted that fastball up and in, but it was down and in. A pretty good line drive out to Addison Barger, but Addison Barger hauls it in for out number 1.
So Willie Castro retired. Here comes Trevor Larnach, the left fielder, a .258 hitter with 14 doubles and 14 homers in 89 games. For Gausman, this is a matchup to watch, not specifically Larnach, but the Minnesota Twins, a team that he has struggled against in his career. The pitch. Fastball outside, ball 1. In 12 career starts for Kevin Gausman against the Twins, 1-4 with a 6.94 ERA, and a decent amount of that damage has come in his Blue Jay career. 1-0, splitter low, 2-0. Been discussion in the past. Twins have a great approach on his splitter. Do they see him tipping pitches? Even Gausman has potentially suggested that. 2-0. Missed outside with the splitter, 3-0.
Yeah, Gausman didn't like that pitch there. As soon as he let go of that split finger, he kind of looked over to the left in disgust. That thing was way outside.
Trying to battle back against the lefty hitter Larnach. 3-0 pitch hit on the ground and picked up at second by Wagner near his left ankle. He throws over to first to Horwitz, and Larnach is retired, 2 down.
Do you know what's better than a 3-0 pop-up?
A 3-0 ground ball?
A 3-0 weak ground ball to second base.
I was narrowing it down because you can't get a 3-0 strikeout. That's never happened before. But he gets the 3-0 ground out from Trevor Larnach, and now with 2 down and the bases empty, here's Royce Lewis. Power hitting third baseman for Minnesota. 15 homers for Lewis in only 54 games this season. The pitch. Fastball outside at 95, 1-0. Lewis batting .258 on the year, also has 11 doubles, so he's almost an extra base hit every 2 games. The pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. A former first overall pick who has been really productive when healthy, just hasn't been healthy all that often. 1-1. Lewis swings and lines a ball caught at third on a hop by Clement. He'll throw it over to first and end the inning. 1-2-3 for Kevin Gausman in the bottom of the first. Scoreless ball game as we head to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Jimmy Buffett fans have their favorite island escape music.
I wanna go back.
Songs of reflection.
Bubbles up. They will point you towards home.
And party anthems.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Listeners voted. Now wrap up summer with the Jimmy Buffett Top 100 Countdown throughout Labor Day weekend on Radio Margaritaville, Channel 24, and at home on the SiriusXM app.
SiriusXM has everything a college football fan needs.
He's in trouble and down he goes. The ball comes out.
All the big games are on the SiriusXM app.
Down the sidelines, midfield. It's a race. Picking them up, putting them down.
Plus, hear daily in-depth analysis on College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Feel the thrill of the Premier League on SiriusXM FC.
Arsenal running riot. A quick fire double from Chelsea.
Hear every pulse-pounding moment.
Haaland scores the hat-trick. Brilliant left-foot strike by Salah. What a goal by Marcus Rashford.
From the world's most exciting league.
Absolutely glorious from Tottenham Hotspur. Manchester United turn it round.
All on your radio home for the beautiful game.
If you like soccer, you are in the right place.
The Premier League lives on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hey everyone, it's Justin Turbin, your 24/7 home for hoops all year long is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and the SiriusXM app. Just search NBA Radio.
Net Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. No score, top of the second. First pitch from Pablo Lopez to Spencer Horwitz. Misses high and outside. Ball 1. Horwitz, a .253 hitter, 8 homers. 1-0. Swing and a chopper to first. Forehanded by Carlos Santana, who flips back to the pitcher Lopez. 1 out.
Pablo Lopez is 4-1 with a 2.39 ERA in his last 8 starts. I'm telling you, he is in peak form right now with that fastball, with the off-speed stuff. And then, like you mentioned before the game, he is a guy that relies heavily on the command.
It's been a huge turnaround for Lopez. He went into the All-Star break with an ERA over 5 and has lowered that now into the low 4s. Could end up in the 3s by the end of the year. His pitch to Addison Barger. Outside, ball 1. And there was an interesting article by Bobby Nightingale just a couple of days ago in the Minnesota Star-Tribune about some of the changes Lopez has made. 1-0 pitch hit on the ground right at the second baseman, Eddie Julian. He picks it up and throws to first, 2 outs. It seems as if Lopez has leaned a little bit more into the sports science that they offer now. Some of the measurements they have, like stride length and just being able to track his mechanics. He's quite literally watching a stick figure pitch his mechanics each game and relating that to some of his best games in their sports science department and just leaning into all the information he can get. Pitch now to Alejandro Kirk. Low ball 1.
Well, if that is truly the case, it is absolutely working.
I mean, it is at least what they're saying, and Lopez has said, one of the things he likes to do is they'll send him what his mechanics looked like on one of his best starts. Kirk swings at the next pitch and pops it back foul 1-1, and he can compare some things to what he did in his recent start. And it's not, Joe Ryan talked about it a little bit, or pardon me, Bailey Ober talked. It's not revolutionizing how they talk about pitching, but if you felt like you were getting too far down the mound, now you have a number to know that. 1-1 pitch, Kirk hits foul back, 1-2. If you thought your arm was dropping a little bit, now he can see exactly where it was and just work through it start by start.
Yeah, and I think it goes pitcher by pitcher. I think a lot of pitchers, hitters, it doesn't matter what position you play, but I think a lot of guys like that type of information, and a lot of guys think that's too much information, and they like to just leave it alone, throw it in the corner. If it's useful, sure, I'll look at it, but some guys think that's too much information.
1-2 sweeper misses down and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kirk with 2 outs and no score in the top of the second.
But obviously Pablo Lopez is a guy that embraces all that information.
And you figure, when you're a frontline starter last year, you got a 5 ERA this year, you might try some things you weren't going to try before. 2-2. Swing and a pop-up foul out of play. For some guys, that's growing a mustache or getting a new haircut. And for some guys, that's, it's watching yourself as a stick figure pitching in the American League wildcard last year or in some of the better starts that you've ever had in your career.
Well, I think if you were playing in the 80s and 90s, I think that was it, growing a mustache.
It's like mustache or eat a different breakfast today.
Yeah.
2-2 again. Another foul ball. Kirk putting up a bit of a fight here. He's seen 6 pitches in this at-bat.
And looking at Pablo Lopez's stuff, he's got the mid to upper 90s fastball, the great sweeper. Obviously, we've seen the changeup. The changeup is a plus pitch of his. It's hard to fathom that he would have an ERA over 5.
The wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 gets Kirk on a changeup. His first strikeout of the day. Ends another 1-2-3 innings. 6 up, 6 down for Lopez at the middle of the second. No score at Target Field. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays, and with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
We're 2meninatruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2meninatruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2meninatruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2meninatruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Next pitch, Moniak takes off. It's low a ball, throw down to second. They got him!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the second inning in Minnesota. Scoreless game between the Blue Jays and the Twins. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Kevin Gausman facing the cleanup hitter Matt Wallner delivers the first pitch to the lefty swinger. Fastball outside and low. Ball 1. Wallner's the right fielder for the Twins and one of back-to-back lefty hitters that will start this inning. Eddie Julian's on deck. 1-0. Swing and a fly ball left field. That backs up Lucas all the way onto the track. He leaps and makes a catch, banging into the wall. First play in the majors this year for Nathan Lucas is a tough one, but he flashes that leather that we saw so often last year, and there's one down.
Well, Kevin Gausman was no doubt holding his breath on that one. That ball just kept carrying and carrying out to the wall in left field, and Nathan Lucas with the nice play. He actually, I think he jumped a little bit too high, kind of caught that at his face almost, coming down and hitting that wall. Nice play from Nathan Lucas out there.
So a loud first out of the inning, and now the Quebec City native Edouard Julien batting from the left side. Gausman's pitch. Down low, ball 1. Julien, a .217 batter this year with 7 home runs in 75 games. Chris had mentioned previously that he's been a little bit up and down in terms of AAA in the majors. 1-0 splitter, misses low, 2-0. Julien broke camp with the Twins, but was optioned down to AAA in early June, was struggling at that point. 2-0. Outside, 3-0. Came back up again for a week in late July and then went down and most recently rejoined the Twins 2 weeks ago on August 15th.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling this year, but he had a great year last year. His rookie season, .263, 16 homers.
Takes a 4-pitch walk on a pitch low, and that's a base runner with 1 out.
So obviously coming out of spring training, the Minnesota Twins hope that he would at least replicate those numbers, if not be a little bit better, and it just didn't happen. So he's been up and down. He's been a guy that obviously is on that bus from Minneapolis to St. Paul, although it's not a very
walk.
You might just take an Uber. But no, he's still getting used to the big leagues. I think last year was great, but he's getting used to the big leagues.
First pitch to Jose Miranda. The DH has popped up in foul territory near the first base dugout, but it gets 5-6 rows into the seats. 0-1. Julien, the first base runner for either side today. He's on with 1 out. No score, bottom of the second. And the right-handed hitting DH, Jose Miranda, steps in. He's having a pretty impressive season. .293 hitter, 26 doubles, 3 triples, and 9 home runs. Miranda steps back in after the foul ball, taps his barrel off the plate twice, and brings the bat above his right shoulder. Gausman kicks, delivers, and the fastball is hit foul, 0-2. Julien, a little bit of a threat to run on first base. He does have 6 stolen bases this year in 75 games. And Gausman is near the tops of major leagues in terms of stolen bases allowed. 0-2. Slider misses downstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Kevin Gausman rarely slide steps. I think that he's more focused on making a good pitch than stopping the running game. I know that if I'm John Schneider, that would probably make me pull my hair out, but I think that's generally what Kevin Gausman is thinking.
Gausman's 20th pitch of the start. Swing from Miranda and a line drive foul down the right field line. And I feel like that trade is not uncommon with elite pitchers. One of the guys that's up there over the last 2 seasons with Gausman is Corbin Burns. And you could kind of understand the mindset of these guys who get people out so often that they don't want to do anything to detract from their pitching. Another 1-2. Splitter in the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, we've actually seen Kevin Gausman use that slide step just a little bit this year, maybe a few times, and almost every time he leaves it arm side high, so that arm ends up dragging because you're trying to be too quick to the plate. If I'm Kevin Gausman, I just scrap that and I just throw my pitch.
Julian leading off first in the 2-2 to Miranda. No, it's going to be a turn and throw over to first. Close play, but Julian dives back in safe. Decent pickoff move there by Kevin Gausman. Throw was a little bit toward right field, but Horwitz had a chance. Now Horwitz will set up again to hold on the runner. Julien taking his lead, and Miranda back in the box. Now the 2-2. Swing and a ground ball to the shortstop, Jimenez. He's going to throw over to first. It pulled him toward third, so he couldn't get the lead runner, Julien, but he gets the out at 1. And there are now 2 outs with Julien in scoring position.
Yeah, that fastball was 96 miles an hour at the bottom of the strike zone. Miranda just beat that thing into the ground, and Leo Jimenez made a great play coming in on that ball. A nice throw across the diamond. Now there's 2 outs in this inning.
And Jimenez is going to shift a little bit in the infield up the middle now because the switch hitter Carlos Santana will bat from the left side here with 2 outs and a runner on second. Gausman's pitch. Fastball, strike 1. Another season in the majors for the 38-year-old Carlos Santana, a one-time All-Star. And he's had a nice year. 239, 18 homers, 55 RBIs. 0-1. Splitter low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Santana, the 3rd oldest position player active in the majors this year. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
I think if you're the Twins, you take those numbers. He signed a 1-year, $5.2 million deal. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but I mean, for a guy that's hitting 240, 18 homers, I mean, that's pretty cheap.
His production is above average, and he might be in the running for a Gold Glove at first base as well. He's played very well over there. Gausman looking at second at Julien, delivers to Santana, and the high fastball is not offered at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And I don't know Carlos personally, but I've heard nothing but good things about him in the clubhouse, how he leads teams. Obviously, as a 38-year-old, you've been around. He's done a ton of things in this game, so I'm sure he's really helping out these young guys on this Minnesota Twins roster.
2-2. Fastball popped up, back behind the plate. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Do you think you know who the 2 older position players are than Carlos Santana this year? I'll give you a hint. You definitely know one of them.
Justin Turner.
There you go. He's the oldest. And the other is Matt Carpenter.
Oh, yeah. He's snuck in there.
About 100 days older than Santana, also 38. Another 2-2. Fastball misses down and away, ball 3.
Well, Carlos Santana doesn't look like he's 38 years old. He looks like he's in peak form. Looks like he just looks like he always has looked.
He's made a bit of a tour of the AL Central. Long time with Cleveland, time with Kansas City, now with Minnesota. 3-2. Fastball cut on and miss. Strike 3. Kevin Gausman elevates to get Santana swinging, and that's another scoreless frame for the Blue Jays right-hander. No runs, no hits, 1 left, and it's 0-0 Blue Jays and Twins after 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
So, you want to be a Looney Dogger, eh? Every Tuesday Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Plus, stop by the Schneider's Porch, your hot dog headquarters. The destination for a one-of-a-kind hot dog experience with excellent ballpark views. So, whether you're the relish ringleader or 7th-inning snacker, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. Don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting, because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
The 0-2 pitch. Fastball, strike three looking.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Brockville and Cornwall, Ontario. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com. Canada's #1 rust protection. Ernie Clement takes strike one, and we're underway in the third. Blue Jays 0, Twins 0. Pablo Lopez on the mound. The pitch. Swing and a foul ball off the inside of the left ankle for Clement, who goes down immediately. Now back up quickly, but still favoring that ankle a little bit. That did not look like something that felt very nice.
Well, again, Ernie Clement is one of those guys, one of the rare guys that doesn't wear any protection, no shin guard, no foot guard. He hit that thing right on the inside of the ankle. That's a tough place to hit that baseball. A fastball at 95 on the inside part of the plate, and that thing, he went down.
I mean, that's kind of right where the bone, you can feel it stick out on your ankle. He hit it square off there. Talked with Jose Ministral for a second, John Schneider, but he appears to be all right.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, why doesn't he wear protection?
Maybe it feels uncomfortable. I think that's I know this has been discussed with George Springer, who fouls an unbelievable number of balls off of his feet. And they had presented to Springer, according to John Schneider, I think last year, like a whole PowerPoint. Here are some shin guards you should try, things you should wear, things that might be comfortable. And I think just some guys they don't like the extra weight or the strap around the leg. And a lot of superstition in baseball also, certainly. And maybe if you made the bigs without one, you don't want to put one on.
Like Ernie Clement actually wears nothing. No protection. He doesn't even have the elongated the
earpiece?
jaw.
Yeah.
The earpiece.
0-2 pitch, popped up, foul into the stands. All he wears is batting gloves.
He's a tough guy. I'm actually surprised that he wears batting gloves.
Another 0-2 to Clement. Swing and a fly ball, center field. Going back, Martin at the track, reaches up and makes the catch. Pretty deep fly ball from Ernie Clement, but Austin Martin tracks it down, 1 out.
Well, first he hits a foul ball off the inside of his ankle. Then he drills a baseball 410 feet to center field. But
Clement retired, and that'll bring up Nathan Lucas for his first at-bat of the Major League season. Lucas making his 2024 season debut. Looks a little bit different maybe than the last time Blue Jays fans would have seen him. Long Brandon Belt beard being sported by Lucas. Right on left, the pitch from Lopez. Lucas swings and hits it back foul, 0-1.
What do you got on that beard?
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. You're a big facial hair guy.
It's a good beard. I mean, it looks well groomed. It's thick, but it's not out of control. I like it.
Yeah, it does look like Brandon Belt.
Tommy Nance, like kind of that style of beard. 0-1. Called strike 0-2. Lucas, though, putting together a very nice season at AAA. Hitting well in the 330s. 7 homers in 57 games. 0-2. Up top, he takes it for ball 1. But just had some tough luck in a couple different ways in terms of getting to the big league club this year after he was a pretty big part of last year's team. 1-2. Down and away with the sweeper. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he definitely looks comfortable out there. He's taken some tough pitches. He's fouled off a good fastball from Pablo Lopez. I mean, if you told me that this was his 50th at-bat of the season, I'd probably believe you.
2-2 pitch, sliced foul to the left, fights off another pretty good fastball to stay alive. Big roars from Blue Jays fans as I believe someone in a Blue Jays jersey came down with that foul ball. You could hear a bit of the Toronto presence in the crowd there. Still a 2-2 count. And Lopez's next pitch coming to Nathan Lucas. Pitch on the way. Broken bat line drive foul down the right field line. Lucas will have to get a new piece of lumber. It's still 2-2.
That was a tough pitch. Ryan Jeffers was set up almost at the hands of Nathan Lucas, and Pablo Lopez, as he often does, he hit his spot and that bat was exploded.
I mean, Lucas hit it pretty hard for a pitch right on the hands.
Well, luckily in the big leagues you get free bats.
You do. Although I don't know for sure. I'd imagine that was his bat at AAA and he was hitting pretty well with it. But he's got a fresh one in his hands now, back in the lefty box. 1 out, bases empty, top of the third. Another 2-2. And this one's hit on the ground at the first baseman, Santana, who waves off Lopez and goes to the bag himself. 2 outs. 10 lucky winners have won over $190,000 each during Jays Care's last Split the Pot raffle, and now you could be next. This jackpot is expected to be one of the biggest of the season and will be evenly split among 10 different winners at the end of September, with some add-on prizes like trips to New York or Mexico. Get your tickets today at bluejays.com/5050 from Ontario or Nova Scotia. Number 9 hitter Leo Jimenez up, 2 outs, and the pitch from Pablo Lopez. Check swing, called strike on a sweeper, 0-1.
And I guess I do have to point out that in the minor leagues you do get free bats. They're just brutal. They're the worst wood bats you can imagine.
So it's like the same companies but lower grade bats?
Oh, yeah.
0-1. Bounced foul, 0-2.
I never knew anybody, and I still don't know anybody that enjoys using those bats. Sometimes you have to. Either you pay for your bats or your agent pays for your bats.
Feels like a decent investment, frankly. I mean, if you hit better with it.
Wood bats are really expensive.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, 2. Swing and a ground ball to short. Picked up by Castro. Throw on to first, and Pablo Lopez is cruising along. Another 1-2-3 inning. He's gone 9 up, 9 down to start the ball game. No score, middle of the third at Target Field. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This is John Paul Morosi. Coming up on the next episode of the SiriusXM podcast, The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman.
All I wanted was an opportunity. I understood that there are high picks and there might be a little more of an opportunity for them. I'm getting to put on a uniform, give it everything you got to make sure they never take it away.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the all-new SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
Be the most informed player in your fantasy football league by listening to the experts on Fantasy Sports Radio.
I want to thank you guys for making me a better fantasy player.
Hear player rankings, position breakdowns, and expert drafts.
There is no bigger value today than Dak Prescott.
Going deep down the right side, got a man, caught, touchdown Cowboys.
The road to a fantasy football championship begins with Fantasy Sports Radio. Channel 87 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. When it comes to home improvements, Timber Mart has the expert advice and the right products at the right price, so you won't find yourself out in left field on your next DIY project. Game on, home team. Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue, bottom of the third inning, and the first pitch to Ryan Jeffers is hit on a line to center field and caught by Dalton Varsho. A quick out for Kevin Gausman in this scoreless game.
Just a little get-me-over fastball, 92 miles an hour right down the middle. Need a line drive to Dalton Varsho for out number 1. That's a It's a good feeling for a pitcher. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Gausman has been strong through 2 1/3, only 31 pitches thrown, and 1 walk issued. That's it. Faces the number 9 hitter, former Blue Jays draft pick in 2020, Austin Martin. The pitch. Bounce to fastball, 1-0. Martin playing in his 82nd game, batting .250 on the season, 14 doubles and 1 home run. Right-handed hitter, knees bent in his stance. The 1-0. Swing and a foul off, 1-1. Blue Jays drafted Austin Martin in 2020, 5th overall out of Vanderbilt, part of the 2019 Commodores College World Series title-winning team. 1-1. Swing and another foul off, 1-2. However, because 2020 there was no minor leagues, Martin spent very little time in the Blue Jays organization. He was flipped over in the middle of 2021 to the Twins at the deadline with Simeon Woods Richardson for Jose Barrios. 1-2. High fastball, Martin lays off.
I think that was a pretty even trade.
I think so. I mean, there wasn't a lot of production on the Minnesota trade side of the trade until this year, but that has changed a lot. 2-2. Splitter bounce, full count.
And obviously far less money being paid out to those players than the Blue Jays to Jose Barrios.
Yeah, the Twins had to wait a bit, but they've now picked up a dependable starter in Simeon Woods Richardson. I think there's still a lot to be determined on Martin, who's hit for a decent average and played good defense, but has not shown much power yet. 3-2 fastball, freezes him, strike 3 looking. 2 outs on Gausman's second strikeout of the game.
And he gassed up on that one, 95 miles an hour. A couple of fastballs previous were 91, 92 miles an hour. That tells you that it's still in there. It's when he needs it, he goes back and gets it.
And he put it right on the edge of the strike zone, probably half the ball over the plate, half the ball outside. An unhittable pitch for Martin. Gausman now delivers to the top of the order. Willie Castro swings at the first pitch and lifts it to left field. Backing up Lucas, still going back just in front of the track, makes the catch and ends the inning. A very quick bottom of the third for Gausman, and these starters going back and forth, Gausman and Lopez. No score after 3 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's Fantasy Football Draft Month on Fantasy Sports Radio. Hear how the experts draft their teams and learn winning strategies to help you win your league.
I don't think it's crazy to go ahead and take CeeDee Lamb with the first overall pick.
Don't miss our host draft tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern as your favorite hosts draft against each other.
Feeling good here about Jared Goff as a mid-range QB2.
Channel 87. And if you missed any of our drafts, hear them right now on the all-new Sirius XM app. Just search Fantasy Drafts. Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
It's the 4th inning, presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. 0-0, top of the 4th. Twins starter Pablo Lopez delivers to Dalton Varsho. Inside, ball 1. Second time through for Lopez, and the Blue Jays looking for a lot more than they got first time through. Lopez went 9 up, 9 down. 1-0. Varsho swings and bounces it to first. Santana coming in. The first baseman picks it up and steps on the bag. 1 out.
I mean, we kind of expected this from Pablo Lopez going into this game. We talked about it before the game. He's on a, what is he at now? 13 plus.
He's on 16 and a third.
He's 16 and a third scoreless inning streak. So he has clearly found something and he's figured something out. So this is going to be a tough ball game for the Toronto Blue Jays offense.
Luckily for them, Kevin Gausman's off to a great start as well. No hits in this game for either side. Will Wagner's up for the second time. The pitch from Lopez. Fastball low, 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Tom Young, our technical director. 1-0. Called strike. For Will Wagner, this is a pretty big bump up in the lineup today, batting second for the Blue Jays. Part of it has to do with George Springer getting a rest day. 1-1. Curveball poured over for strike 2. Only 14 games in Wagner's career coming into today, but he had hit no higher than 5 before this game. 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2.
Yeah, I wonder if this changes the mentality for Will Wagner. I would assume it doesn't, just because he's been around the game. He's been in the big leagues since he was 2 years old. Probably doesn't faze him too much.
Now the 2-2. Swing and a ground ball to second. Shuffling to his right, Julian picks it up, throws back across his body to first. And there are 2 outs on 2 ground balls to the right side.
The only thing that you have to think about as you kind of creep up in the order is you hope that player, if you're John Schneider, you hope that player is not putting too much pressure on themselves. They're not trying to do too much because they're now hitting cleanup or hitting third or hitting second. Just stay within yourself and drive the ball the other way. But I think that Will Wagner is going to be fine in the 2-hole.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up now with 2 outs. The pitch from Lopez, low and in, ball 1. I guess the only other thing that really changes too is if you're hitting right in front of Vlad, probably getting a lot of pitches to hit. Don't want to walk the guy right before Guerrero, who leads the Blue Jays with 88 RBIs. 1-0. Swing and a line drive foul down the left field line. Smoked by Vlad, but couldn't keep it straight. 1-1.
And I've said that a bunch this season, that Vlad has really had no protection. I mean, for the majority of this season, he's just basically by himself out there. And he's still producing.
The 1-1. Swing and a foul back, 1-2.
Think about New York. Think about Juan Soto. How many pitches does Juan Soto get because he has Aaron Judge behind him?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a complete flip from a couple of years ago when Soto was kind of the only guy left on the Nats team that had been there from the World Series, and he was getting walked like crazy. 1-2 pitch to Guerrero is chopped to third, picked up there by Royce Lewis, who throws over to first and ends the inning. 3 ground balls for Pablo Lopez, and he still hasn't budged in this game. Retired all 12 he's faced to keep it scoreless middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey, Jays fans, ready to hit a home run with your next roofing project? Step up to the plate with GAF Timberline HDZ shingles, the official roofing shingle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Just like our Jays, GAF Timberline HDZ shingles deliver top performance with unmatched durability and protection. So, when it's time to cover your bases, choose the winning team. Visit your local Home Depot or shop online at homedepot.ca for all your roofing shingles and accessories. GAF. We protect what matters most.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Pizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball hit to center field. Varsho with a dive, and he makes the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, and Tom Young, our technical director. Blue Jays 0, Twins 0, home half of the fourth inning. And Kevin Gausman will face the meat of the Twins order, 2, 3, 4. Trevor Larnach, Royce Lewis, and Matt Wallner. Right-hander bouncing off his left foot, now pitches to the lefty hitter Larnach. Fastball in there, 0-1. Gausman only threw 38 pitches through the first 3 innings, allowing 1 base runner, a walk in the second to Canadian Eddie Julien. 0-1. Splitter catches the bottom of the zone for strike 2. Gausman got Larnach to ground out on a 3-0 pitch in the first. Here's an 0-2 in the fourth. Swing and a fly ball, left field side foul, and into the seats.
Not quite as high as they wanted that pitch. That fastball was 94. Alejandro Kirk had his target above the strike zone. That one kind of leaked into the strike zone. Not a very hittable pitch, but not where you want it. 0-2.
Another 0-2. And a slider bounces in, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
We've seen this a lot this season, but Kevin Gausman's fastball today has been 90 miles an hour to 96 miles an hour. A huge difference.
Seems to reach back for 95, 96 when he wants it, but use 92, 93 more of the time. 1-2. Splitter just low and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Alejandro Kirk really tried to frame that pitch. Probably moved his glove a little bit more than he usually does. But still one of the best.
Kirk sets up away. 2-2. Fastball sliced foul to the left. Pretty good battle being put up by Trevor Larnach, a 2018 first rounder out of Oregon State. Was picked by the Twins right after he won the national title with the Beavers on that famed team with Adley Rutschman, Stephen Kwan, and Nick Madrigal. 2-2. Low ball 3.
It's hard to fathom how that team won the national championship.
Well, Larnach was a hero on that team. They actually lost game 1 to Arkansas and were down in game 2. Larnach hit a go-ahead home run to complete a 9th inning comeback facing elimination. They went on to win game 3 and win the national title. 3-2 pitch misses down and in, and Larnach gets a well-earned walk to start this fourth.
Yeah, Kevin Gausman tried to flip a split finger in there, 3-2. He was tired of throwing all those pitches, but he kind of yanked it down and in. Trevor Larnach just looked at it, started taking off his gloves.
So a leadoff walk in the fourth, and now Royce Lewis coming up. A little bit of talk early in this game about the Blue Jays being back at Target Field, first time since the playoffs. And Lewis was the villain to the Blue Jays. First pitch fastball, cut on and missed, strike 1. It was game 1 of the wild card when Lewis hit 2 home runs off Kevin Gausman. After his ground out in the first, he's 4 for 5 against Gausman career with those 2 long balls. 0-1. Foul tipped, 0-2.
Yeah, those home runs were absolute missiles, but he's a different guy this season. He's not the same guy that he was last year.
In what ways?
I mean, those 2 swings right there, they're just, if this was the playoffs last year, I feel like those pitches there would have been homers.
0-2 pitch is a fastball hit back foul.
He's just not seeing the ball as well as he did last year. He's not doing damage on pitches that he should be doing damage on. Obviously, he's still a good player. He just needs to figure out some things mechanically.
Lewis has had a couple injured list stints this year, which is why he has just 15 homers in now 55 games. Another 0-2. Fastball down and away, ball 1.
It's actually not a bad pace, though.
No, it's not. Not at all.
Was that 45 homer pace, something like that?
A little bit less, but in that range for sure. Actually, might be right around 40. One, 2. Splitter, low. Check swing by Lewis, but he held back. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
If you look at his career numbers, though, they're pretty solid. So he has 448 career at-bats. A general, full season is probably 550, 600 for some guys. 286, 32 homers, 97 RBIs. I mean, that's pretty close to being an all-star.
I think that would be an all-star, probably, as long as you had the right first half. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He goes around on the splitter, and for Gausman, his first strikeout on that split finger pitch and his 3rd strikeout of the start.
Yeah, that's really tough. It looked like a fastball, 88 miles an hour, and then kind of just dipped down below the strike zone. Royce Lewis put a little half swing on it. I don't think he knew that he swung, but he definitely did.
Tried to hold up, but couldn't. Definitely went around, and now with 1 out, here comes Matt Wallner. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. In a sec, we'll check out the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. A lot of games in progress right now across baseball. Runner going off first. Gausman steps off, throws to second, and they get him. Larnach left before Gausman made a move. And all the Blue Jays infielders started barking at Gausman to step off. He did. He delivers a strike to Will Wagner. And the Blue Jays technically catch Larnach stealing there. There are 2 outs.
Yeah, you could actually hear everybody saying, step off, step off. And luckily for Kevin Gausman, he stepped off and looked to second base instead of stepping off and looking to first. A lot of pitchers would look to first. They wouldn't have enough time, and then Trevor Larnach would have been at second base. But luckily for Kevin Gausman, he threw right to second base, and they got him.
So 2 down and the base is empty. The next pitch to Wallner misses low, 1-1. For Larnach, his first time caught stealing this year in 5 attempts. 1-1. Foul ball, 1-2. The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Rib Sanity is on now until September 8th. All-you-can-eat ribs for just $27.99. Visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. Red Sox and Tigers in extra innings in Detroit. It went 4-4 into extras, but the Red Sox with a 3 spot in the top of the 10th and still batting in that inning. Our out-of-town scores today brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 0-0 Blue Jays and Twins. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Gausman stops and delivers to Wallner. Fastball lined up the middle, over the leap of Jimenez and into center field. They wanted to go to the top of the zone, but Gausman threw a fastball to the bottom of the zone, and it was jumped all over by Wallner for a 2-out single.
Yeah, not a bad pitch from Kevin Gausman, but not where he wanted it. That was just mislocation. Like you said, you could see Alejandro Kirk almost standing up, trying to get that ball up above the strike zone, and he kind of threw it middle in. Relatively hittable pitch, 97 miles an hour, but Wallner just drills it right back up the middle.
First hit of the game for either side. And here's Edouard Julien. The pitch on the outside corner, strike 1. Julien was the first base runner for the Twins in this game. He walked back in the second inning. 0-1. Called strike, 0-2. Julien tilts his head to the side. He wasn't sure about that call, but you couldn't place that more on the outer edge of the strike zone than Gausman just did. Now the 0-2. High fastball hit back foul. Got it to the top of the zone, but again, Kirk standing up. They wanted it above the zone, and Gausman just didn't get under it enough.
Yeah, after Julien fouled that ball off, you could see Alejandro kind of tilt his head, not really in love with the placement of that pitch. It's an 0-2 pitch. You want that thing above the strike zone.
Another 0-2, this time a splitter in the dirt, blocked by Kirk.
Or below the strike zone.
Out of the zone in general. 22 pitches in this inning for Gausman. He's allowed a walk in the frame and a base hit. Although after the caught stealing, just a runner on first, 2 outs. Righty kicks and fires. Splitter hit to left field softly, and it's going to get down foul. Just missed the line. Wallner thought it was going to land fair. He was all the way around second, nearing third. And Julian just misses out on extra bases.
Well, Julian didn't even know where that hit was. He was kind of looking all over the place. Then he found it. He thought it was going to be fair for a second. Started running to first base, but it dropped about 5 feet foul.
Julian kicks the barrel and steps back into the box. Quebec City native bats from the left side. And the 1-2. Bounced foul. Got a piece of a splitter that was out of the zone. A leadoff first by Wallner. 2 down in the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Gausman, both swinging, both on the splitter. No runs for the Twins, 1 hit, but Wallner left on first base. Still no score as we go to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Tap into Sound Experiences custom built for backyard grilling, poolside chilling, and everything in between. From sizzling hip-hop mixes to carefree country specials. And feel good.
What's up, Blue Jays fans? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Please take a minute and exit out of the chat and hit that thumbs up button. Please smash that like button. We really need your help so we can get more Blue Jays fans and baseball fans here in the chat so we can have a great time here watching the Blue Jays game against the Red Sox. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's keep it classy. Go Blue Jays, go.
Channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM.
Let's go, man!
We're back on the track Sunday,
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Cookout Southern 500 from Darlington Raceway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah!
On Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Oh, yeah!
Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah!
Fantasy football players, learn winning strategies right now on Fantasy Sports Radio to help you draft a winning team on Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins awarded another 150 grants worth $20,000 each to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz at goodsparkgrants.ca.
Thank you, Chris. Top of the 5th, and 1 strike on Spencer Horwitz in a scoreless ball game. Blue Jays and Twins. Pablo Lopez winds and delivers. Fastball outside, 1-1. Blue Jays without a base runner through 4 innings. Lopez has been perfect. A lot of ground balls, 1 strikeout for the righty. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
And he just threw his 49th pitch of the ball game. We're in the top of the 5th inning. It's pretty impressive.
Just another good start for Lopez, who's on a big run, like Chris had mentioned earlier. ERA in the mid to low 2s over his last 8 starts. And you can see why he's been dominant with that 95, 96 mile per hour heater located well. 1-2. Down low with the changeup, it misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, people always ask me, what's the best pitch in baseball? Is it the curveball? Is it the slider? Is it the split finger? And I always just say it's a well-located fastball. It's really simple.
2-2. Swing and a foul off. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. R.A. Dickey would beg to differ, but that's a discussion for another time.
He's an outlier.
Yes. Another 2-2 from Lopez. Swing and a line drive right field, base hit. Jammed Horwitz, but he just muscles it over the second baseman, Eddie Julien, into right field. And the Blue Jays have their first base runner of the day, Horwitz, on to lead off the fifth.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good pitch, but Horwitz just gets enough of it to dump it into right field. You might want to check and see if he needs a new bat.
Yeah, hit it right off the handle, but just enough. And now Addison Barger up with no outs and a runner on first. Lopez from the stretch. The pitch. Change up. Called strike, 0-1. How about Addison Barger coming into this one on a 7-game hit streak, batting .375 in that span. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And we talked about this yesterday. Yes, he's swinging the bat well. Yes, he's hitting for power, but he's also playing pretty good defense.
Splitting his time between third base and today right field. A little bit of left sprinkled in as well. 1-1. Swing and a foul ball back behind the plate. 1-2.
Feels like 2 years ago that he made that spinning play. His first game of the season playing in left field. Was it his first time ever playing in left field?
It was his first professional game, at least, in left field.
He's come a long way from that day.
That was in Kansas City, I want to say in May. Now the Blue Jays in Minnesota in August. The 1-2. Swing and a ground ball left side. Diving stop by Castro, the shortstop, but he's got nowhere to go. He's just going to eat it. Castro was playing up the middle, the pull side for the lefty hitter. He had to range to his backhand side, and by the time he popped up off the grass, Barger was at first and Horwitz was at second.
Yeah, that swing was almost like Barger knew where that hole was. He kind of just filleted it over there. He knew what he was doing. He busted his bat. He'll need to get a new bat after that, but another base hit for Addison Barger. Pretty nice play from Willie Castro keeping that ball on the infield, but Blue Jays have runners on first and second now.
And Alejandro Kirk swings at the first pitch and hits a hard liner foul, 0-1. Like you said, first and second. Horwitz on second, Barger on first. 2 hits in the inning for the Blue Jays. So they now have more hits than the Twins have in the whole game. Lopez set, looks back at Horwitz. And now the 0-1. Swing and a grounder picked up at third and bobbled now by Lewis. And are they going to say it's a foul ball? No. Or it is going to be a foul ball. Bit of an awkward play. A lot of the fielders played it out like they didn't know what was going on, but it was a clear foul signal from Will Little, the third base umpire. So they'll reset.
Hey, that was strange. Royce Lewis made the play, picked it up, touched third base. Spencer Horwitz came sliding into third base. Nobody really knew what was going on. Alejandro Kirk actually ran all the way to first base. I'm sure he's not feeling so great right now.
Kirk steps back into the box now with runners on first and second and nobody out. 0-2. Down and away, ball 1. You can hear the Let's Go Blue Jays chants in Minnesota. Big series for Blue Jays fans in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. And the Twins fans responding with some boos. 1-2. Swing and a fly ball yanked down the left field line, foul.
It's either boos or they try to be louder. I feel like the Twins are just booing.
And at a couple of the ballparks recently, like Fenway Park, the Blue Jays fans have been drowned out. They weren't really drowned out there. They kind of prevailed over the noise of the Twins fans. And now a second Let's Go Blue Jays chance is starting up after the last one quieted down a little bit. First and second, no outs. 1-2 to Kirk. Swing and a fly ball to center field. Martin doesn't have to move. He makes the catch off to his left. 1 out. Let's take a look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, where there's a no-hit bid going on right now in Houston. Framber Valdez, who's thrown no-hitters before and flirted with them this year too, has gone 5 innings against the Kansas City Royals without allowing a hit. He's about to step back on the mound for the 6th inning with Houston up 1-0 on Kansas City. Ernie Clement to the plate. Here's the pitch from Lopez. Outside, ball 1.
You have a rule, right, that you don't talk about it or say that it's a no-hitter until the 6th inning?
I actually kind of more even believe in the 7th inning, but I broke my rule because I knew Fromber was doing it, and he gets a little bit more of a leash. 1-0. Called strike 1-1.
Is it that you just don't believe that it's going to happen? Is that why you don't mention it?
I just don't take it seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
Until that point. And MLB does a thing where they highlight a game no-hitter to get you to watch it in like the 5th. And if you've gone 4 no-hit innings, that's not really anything. 1-1 pitch, called strike, 1-2.
So essentially they highlighted this game, Pablo Lopez and Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, they would have had Lopez probably with the no-hitter banner coming into the 5th inning. Blue Jays with 2 hits in the frame, though. It's 1st and 2nd, 1 out. No score, top of the 5th. 1-2 to Ernie Clement. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sinker deployed there by Lopez. Doesn't throw it often, but it ran way in on the hands of Clement, who swung through it.
Yeah, that was nasty. It actually started on the plate, on the inner third of the plate, and then just dove underneath the bat of Ernie Clement. That was probably the most awkward swing I've seen Ernie Clement take. You could see how frustrated he was with that one.
Doesn't strike out often, just over 30 strikeouts over the course of the season. Nathan Lucas up, and the first pitch is a fastball at 97 for strike 1. Trying to drive in Horwitz, who had a leadoff single. Barger singled in the infield right after him, but 2 straight outs for Pablo Lopez. 0-1. Swing and a ground ball right side, backhanded by Santana. Flips back to Lopez, who steps on the bag and ends the inning. Oliver out-of-town scores this inning, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Still no score in Minnesota. The Blue Jays come up with 2 hits but leave 2 on, and it's 0-0 middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM.
Let's go, man!
We're back on the track Sunday,
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Cookout Southern 500
from Darlington Raceway.
Checker fly, baby. Yeah!
On Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes!
It's gonna be a big Tuesday on PGA Tour Radio. At 6 p.m. Eastern, rock and roll legend Alice Cooper.
They judge time by Tiger.
At 7 p.m. Eastern, 6-time PGA Tour winner Lucas Glover.
Beautiful stroke by Lucas Glover.
And at 8 p.m. Eastern, the debut of the making of the Solheim Cup.
We were going to produce a women's version of the Ryder Cup.
PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
I'm Rocco Mediate. Music and golf are coming together on Rolling the Rock with Alice Cooper and me. I'll talk with the rock and roll legend about his career and passion for the game that we all love.
Trevino hits that little low shot that skips and stops. I said, oh my gosh, he sculled the ball until it landed about 4 feet from the pin. And it was so much fun.
Here, Rolling the Rock with Alice Cooper and me, Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car and the Sirius XM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host, and Jays Talk host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, our technical director. Kevin Gausman deals to Jose Miranda. It's a slider low, ball 1. Blue Jays 0, Twins 0. Both teams threatened the last time they were at the plate, but no one has scored against Pablo Lopez and Kevin Gausman combined. 0-1. Or pardon me, 1-0. Misses down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. What's been the key in your eyes for Gausman so far?
Well, I think it's the location of the fastball. I mean, that's kind of his thing. When he struggles, it's really just he's so erratic with the fastball.
2-0 heater hit foul, 2-1.
And then obviously to go along to complement that fastball, the split finger has been pretty good tonight. But I mean, he's just been so much better over the last 15 innings or so than he has been over the last 15 starts. It's almost like he's found something.
2-1. Throws the slider in the zone for strike 2.
Even that slider was pretty good right there. Had a lot of bite to it. Good spin.
Almost had 12-6 movement, but he throws it with a slider grip, and it's low 80s, so more of a slider velocity than a curve. Jose Miranda leading off, then Carlos Santana and Ryan Jeffers in the bottom of the 5th. 2-2. Fastball hit in the air, deep right center field. Barger going back. It's over his head and off the wall. Barger fields it and whips it over to second base, but Miranda gets there with a stand-up double.
And that fastball had good velo on it, 95 miles an hour, but it was right down the middle. And you talked about it earlier, but Jose Miranda is having a great season. He didn't miss that pitch, took it the other way, right off that right center field wall. Now the Minnesota Twins have a runner on second and nobody out in this inning.
27th double this year for Jose Miranda. First extra base hit of the game for either side. And for the Twins today, just the second time that a runner's in scoring position. And if you're Minnesota, you have the right guy up trying to drive in a run. Here's Carlos Santana, switch hitter batting left. Gausman looking at second, the pitch. Hit hard right side and through the infield into right for a base hit. Around third, Miranda. Barger's throw goes into second base. It's an RBI single for Santana, and the Twins are up 1-0.
Just a hanging split finger over the heart of the plate. Carlos Santana has seen a ton of hangers in his day. That's why he's been so good over the course of his career. He hits mistakes, and that one right there was supposed to be down. It was about thigh high, and Carlos Santana drilled it into right center for a single and an RBI.
For Santana, his 56th RBI of the year. And the Twins score first. Runner on first now, nobody out, and Ryan Jeffers up. The pitch. Fastball outside, ball 1. Jeffers playing in his 101st game of the season. First time in his career that he has played 100 games. 1-0. Swing and a miss at a splitter, 1-1. Jeffers debuted for the Twins in 2020, but bounced up and down in 2021, still establishing himself. Was on the 60-day IL in 2022. 1-1 pitch inside, 2-1. And in 2023, Twins picked up Christian Vasquez, and he kind of split time evenly with Vasquez. Still splits it a fair amount, but didn't DH as much as he does this year, so played 96 games for Minnesota last season. 2-1 splitter, misses low, 3-1. Quietly, though, one of the more potent offensive catchers in baseball. 20 doubles, 20 home runs, and averaged near 240 this season. Jeffers asked for time, now steps back into the box. In the driver's seat, 3 balls and 1 strike is the count. Carlos Santana on first with no outs. Gausman's pitch. Fastball low, ball 4. For Kevin Gausman, his 3rd walk of the start, now 2 on with nobody out.
And Kevin Gausman's actually asking the home plate umpire, is that low? Is that low? And he said it 2 or 3 times, pretty frustrated, still chatting with him. Not happy at all with that call, but I don't know, it might have been below the strike zone.
Did look on the strike box like it was low, and now Pete Walker's going to go out to the mound.
This injury report is brought to you by Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Pereira will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca.
So the big injury news was going to be around Joey Loperfido, who was removed from the game yesterday in Fenway after hitting his head and neck off the green monster, jumping back to make a catch. Good news is that while Loperfido isn't in the lineup today, he passed all the testing and concussion testing that they were doing. He's not in concussion protocol right now. He's getting the day off today, not available for the Blue Jays off the bench, according to John Schneider, but they have not made any sort of move toward putting him on the injured list, and he does remain with the team right now, just dealing with a little bit of headaches. Pete Walker off the mound, and up to the plate is Austin Martin, the number 9 hitter. First and second for the Twins. A run in this inning for Minnesota, and nobody out. The pitch to Martin. He squares to bunt, and bunts it foul to the right, 0-1. Blue Jays all over that sacrifice attempt. They had Clement way in from third and Horwitz in from first.
Yeah, it almost looked like they were trying to steal that out at third base. When you crash like that, that tells you that that's an important run at second base, and you're trying to steal that out at third base.
0-1. Martin squares to bunt again, pulls it back. The pitch was high. 1 ball, 1 strike. When you look who's out there at second base running, it's Carlos Santana, who's not exactly fleet of foot. And you probably, if you can field it cleanly, have a pretty good shot of getting Santana on a force. Gausman looking at Santana, now delivers to the plate. Martin squares and bunts it to the third base side. Clement picks it up. He'll have to throw over to first for the out. Both runners advance. Martin got it to the right spot to prevent the Blue Jays from getting the out at third, but they do get the first out, and now second and third for the Twins.
Yeah, when there's a runner on second base as a sack bunter, you're supposed to bunt it to the third base side, so the third baseman has to field that baseball, and then there's no play at third base. He did it perfectly right there.
That'll draw the Blue Jays infield in. Big chance for the Twins here. RBI single by Santana this inning made it 1-0. But 2 big runs out on second and third. Only 1 out. Willie Castro takes the first pitch outside, ball 1. Switch hitting shortstop Castro has 51 RBIs on the season. 0 for 2 today. 1-0. Swing and a miss at a splitter, 1-1.
And I would imagine they're going to try to strike him out here. Probably won't throw anything in the heart of the plate. And if they do let him swing the bat and potentially make contact with it, it's probably going to be something elevated so he can pop it up.
1-1 pitch. Splitter low of the zone, hit foul back behind the plate, 1-2. In 3 pitches so far, haven't given him anything over the plate. Santana on third, Jeffers on second. Gausman steps back for a moment as Castro asked for time. Now the switch hitter batting left back in the box. Castro twirls the bat around 4 times and brings it up above his left shoulder. 1-2. Splitter low, and for the first time in this at-bat, Castro lays off of it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think it's interesting that Alejandro Kirk is trying to fake out the other team, or if he's trying to make Kevin Gausman really extend with that split finger, but he flashes a target at the top of the strike zone, and then he takes it away.
2-2 pitch hit in the air, deep left field. Lucas going back at the wall, leaps and makes the catch, slamming into the fence. Santana will tag from third. He comes home to score. That's a heck of a play from Nathan Lucas, but it also goes as a sacrifice fly for Willie Castro, and the Twins double their advantage, now 2-0.
Well, it could have very easily been 2 runs for the Minnesota Twins. Instead, they just get the 1. Nathan Lucas with a great play. Doesn't know this ballpark at all. He feels for the wall, makes the catch, goes crashing into that left field wall, and then throws it back into the infield. Kevin Gausman with the appreciation, lifting up his glove, pointing out at Lucas out in left field.
Gausman trying to keep this manageable now. 2 outs, runner on second. 2-0 Twins. The pitch to Trevor Larnach is outside, ball 1. First 3 Twins reached in this inning. 2 of them have scored. 1-0. Swing and a foul back, 1-1. In fact, all 5 Twins have been productive that have come up in this inning. Double, single, walk, sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly. So everyone's getting high fives right now going back into the dugout. 1-1. Fastball hit in the air, left field. Lucas charging in, makes the catch overhead, and ends the inning. Twins break the ice with 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave 1 on, but they'll take a 2-0 lead to the 6th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
The Blue Jays are inviting you to work from Dome. Put it in your calendar. 307 weekday starts this season. You can work from Dome with friends or coworkers at Rogers Center. It's a game changer. Make the ballpark your office for the afternoon. Work from Dome, 307 weekday starts. Let's touch base. Check out ticket options on bluejays.com/workfromdome.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
I am by your side. Got a heart so big, on this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
They got him. A strike him out, throw him out, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins is a big fan of small biz. That's why they awarded another $3 million to small business owners across the country. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz this year at goodsparkgrants.ca. Pablo Lopez's first pitch of the 6th inning drops in a curveball for strike 1 against Leo Jimenez. Twins 2, Blue Jays nothing. Here's the 0-1. Fastball bounced off the dirt circle, rolling slowly to third. Lewis bare hands, but he's got no play. Infield single for Leo Jimenez.
Yeah, Leo will take that one. That was actually a tough sinker below the strike zone, 95 miles an hour. Hits it about halfway between home plate and the third base bag, and he's at first base with a single. Nobody out in this inning.
Third hit for the Blue Jays against Lopez today, although it's 2 infield singles and a jam shot liner to right field by Spencer Horwitz. Not a lot of hard contact yet. Dalton Varsho up for the 3rd time, swings and bounces it foul behind him, 0-1. Lopez just threw his 70th pitch of the start with nobody out in the 6th. Right on left, the 0-1 pitch to Varsho. High and outside, 1-1. Varsho on a very impressive run over the last 30 or so days. You go back exactly a month to July 30th. He's second on the Blue Jays in average and OPS, only to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Takes the 1-1 pitch, 97 on the outside third for strike 2.
Yeah, he can run it up there, 96, 97, sometimes 98 miles an hour, and he still has the command. He still has the little bit of life, little bit of movement through the zone. He's pretty impressive.
One-two. High, 2-2. Lopez made the All-Star game last year, his first season as a Twin. Brought over from Miami in the deal that sent Luis Arraez the other way. 2-2. Swing and a pop-up just back of second base. Eddie Julian on the right field grass makes a two-handed catch, 1 out. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Framber Valdez is pitching in the 7th inning with no hits allowed for Houston against Kansas City. He did walk a batter in the 7th inning, but for now, Valdez making a bid at another no-hitter. Aren't they just spoiled in Houston? 17, 18 no-hitters in their franchise. It just feels like they get one every month. Pitch now to Will Wagner, former Houston Astros minor leaguer, takes it up high, 1-0.
He's thrown 85 pitches, and he's in the top of the 7th inning. They'll let him go.
I think so.
Yeah.
.75 pitches for Lopez here in the 6th inning. Runner on first, 1 out. And the offering to Will Wagner. Fastball right at the knees, 1-1. More Let's Go Blue Jays chants at Target Field.
Well, the tying run is in the batter's box right now.
1 home run in the major league career of Wagner, 1-1. Swing and a foul off, 1-2, and Wagner hopping around after that one. I think he knows he missed a mistake pitch there. That was right down the middle with the 95-mile-per-hour fastball.
Yeah, that was thigh-high, middle. 95. Might have just snuck up on Will Wagner, but very hittable location at least.
1-2. In the dirt with a breaking ball. That was the curveball at 85 miles an hour. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's got pretty good break to it. It's almost a 12-6 curveball. Jeffers doing a good job blocking that baseball, keeping Leo Jimenez at first base.
Two. Swing and a ground ball to the second baseman, Julian. Flips over to second one, back to first. Inning-ending double play. 4-6-3. The Twins turn it, erase the leadoff single, and take us to the bottom of the 6th. 2-0 for the home side over the Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Tonight on Sirius XM Sports.
A football doubleheader on College Sports Radio. Tune in now as the Michigan State Spartans host the Florida Atlantic Owls, followed by the TCU Horned Frogs and Stanford Cardinal. On your home for the best in college sports, Sirius XM Channel 84 and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports. Wherever you are, your team plays here.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
Let me tell you something. I'm a real fan.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait to get into the truck, turn on 82.
Sharing the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation. I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888-MAD-DOG-6.
You gotta love sports.
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the Sirius XM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue. Twins up 2-0 on the Blue Jays in the opener of this 3-game series. Kevin Gausman facing Royce Lewis in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the first pitch. Slider freezes him, strike 1. A good start so far for Gausman, but he's trying to bounce back after giving up 2 runs in the 5th. 0-1. Splitter hit in the air, shallow right field, going out Wagner, and it's just over the second baseman's head and down and right for a bloop single.
Yeah, that's just tough luck for Kevin Gausman. You can see the frustration on his face. Pretty good splitter, right on right, splitty, down in the zone. Royce Lewis barely got the end of the bat on it. He didn't think he was going to be at first base, but just drops in between Addison Barger and Will Wagner out there in no man's land.
So another hit for the Twins now, who are up to 4 on the day. Blue Jays with 3. Gausman pitches to Matt Wallner. First pitch hit on the ground and off the backstop, off to the left of the plate, 0-1. Gausman just threw his 88th pitch. And with the leadoff runner on in the 6th as well, Zach Pop is loosening up for the Blue Jays in the bullpen. 0-1. Check swing on a splitter down and away. He didn't go around. That's a ball to make it 1 ball, 1 strike. Lewis on first, not a threat to steal, hasn't run at all this year. 1-1. In the dirt, ball 2.
Well, I wouldn't want to run either if I was Royce Lewis. I probably wouldn't want to get hurt.
2 ACL tears in the career of Royce Lewis, and 4 other IL stints combined over the last 2 seasons unrelated to that knee. 2-1 pitch is a fastball perfectly placed on the outside edge, called strike. 2-2.
Well, I'm sure the Twins don't want him to run either. They probably put the break sign on out there.
2-2. Hit back to the mound, pardon me, and thrown over to second for 1. Jimenez to first, not in time. Fielder's choice. That ball bounced right to the hill. Gausman picked it up, made a good throw to second for 1, but good running by Wallner out of the box prevents a double play. Although the Blue Jays are thinking about it, they're not going to challenge.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good play from Kevin Gausman. A quick turn to Leo Jimenez at second base. I thought they actually would have had a play at Wallner at first base, but he beat it by about a hair.
So 1 down now, still a runner on first. Wallner replaces Lewis, and the pitch to Eddie Julian. It's a fastball down and in, 1-0. Julian 0 for 1 with a walk. Good numbers against the Blue Jays in his career. The Canadian has hit just under 400 now against Toronto. 1-0 pitch, popped up. Left side foul, racing back Clement and racing in Lucas, but neither of them can get it as it falls over the netting into the seats.
That was a long run for Ernie Clement and Nathan Lucas. They might want to catch their breath before Kevin Gausman throws this next pitch. He's taking a break. He's standing off the rubber right now, letting them catch their breath.
Now everyone's set again. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a slicer, foul out of play, 1-2. Quick look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Cool story in Anaheim. Angels facing the Mariners. Samuel Aldeguerri is getting the start for the Angels today, his major league debut. 1-2. Swing and another ball hit foul. Aldeguerri today became the first pitcher born and raised in Italy to reach the major leagues. 22-year-old is from Verona in northern Italy and grew up watching YouTube videos of Clayton Kershaw to get into baseball. And now he's pitching in the bigs. 1-2 pitch, down and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
What do you think his buddies were thinking when they were, 8, 9, 10 years old, and he was like, I'm going to go to the field and throw a baseball while they were kicking a football or kicking a soccer ball around?
They were like, what is a slider? And why are you using your hands so much in this sport? Aldeguerri has given up 2 in the first inning, although both are unearned as Seattle leads Los Angeles 2-0 on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Gausman's 2-2 pitch to Eddie Julian. Misses down and away, ball 3. 2-0 Twins in Minnesota. Runner on first, Matt Wallner, and 1 out. Gausman set at the belt, looks in, peeks at first, and delivers. 3-2 pitch, popped up, just back of the third baseman Clement. It'll be Lucas's ball in left center. He moves to his left and makes the catch. 2 outs.
Well, Julian thought that he would do more with that pitch. 95 about thigh high. He popped it up to Nathan Lucas, and as soon as he made contact with that ball, the helmet went flying, and he tossed his bat in frustration.
I mean, pretty good pitch, I think, when he goes back to look at that one after. Maybe not as hittable as it seemed. Gausman put it right at the top of the zone.
And it was also mid-90s. It was 95. It's not like it's 87 down the middle.
2 outs now. Jose Miranda up, who started the 2-run fifth. Pitch here in the sixth, misses down and in, ball 1. That was Gausman's 100th of the day. Miranda 1 for 2. He doubled to start that fifth, came around to score. 2-0 Twins, runner on first. 2 outs and the 1-0. Bounce the splitter, and it bounces off each of the thighs of Kirk, who keeps it in front of him, 2-0.
Pretty good job from Kirk, sliding to his right, keeps it in front of him, keeps the runner at first base.
At times in Kirk's career, John Schneider has used the words glove happy with Kirk on blocking pitches. It seems, though, this year that has really turned around, and he's using the glove but getting his body in front of a lot of pitches too. 2-0. Down and away, ball 3.
I would tend to agree with John Schneider. In the past, I've noticed that he tried to scoop balls a lot more instead of trying to get to his knees and blocking baseballs. So I guess if that's the phrase that John Schneider wants to use, glove happy, I'll use it.
It's not a bad one. 3-0 pitch to Miranda. Down and in, ball 4. Gausman with a walk. That's his 4th of the start, and now 2 on with 2 outs and over 100 pitches. A discussion right now between John Schneider and Pete Walker, and Schneider will emerge from the dugout and point to the bullpen. Zach Pop is going to enter this game with 2 on and 2 outs. 2-0 for the Twins in Minnesota, bottom of the 6th inning. We'll take a quick step aside and hand it over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks, guys. And before we check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, don't forget we do have Jay's Talk tonight. I have a solo edition of the post-game show this evening, so stay up with me. Send me your calls. Send me your text, 590-590, name and location. That's the People's Text line, which is always open. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. I'll throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. All right, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. I'm going to start with the Paralympics, which have begun in France. Team Canada capturing a pair of bronze medals on day 1. Today, 2 more medals added to the tally. Track cyclists Keely Shaw and Alexander Hayward, each grabbing bronze. Shaw's coming in the women's C4 3,000-meter individual pursuit, which was the same event in which she won a bronze at the 2021 Games in Tokyo, while Hayward made his Paralympic debut. He reached the podium in the men's C3 3,000-meter individual pursuit as well. Elsewhere in France, the Canadian wheelchair rugby team improving to 1-1 in group play. They beat Germany 54-47. Canada is the 5th-ranked team and closes out the group stage against Japan, the 3rd-ranked team. That game is tomorrow, 11:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m. Pacific. That's Saturday morning, and the top 2 teams in each group will advance to Sunday's semifinals. You can check out all Paralympic scoreboard updates certainly as well on Sportsnet.ca. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action at Target Field with the call. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you so much, Joe. The Blue Jays making their first pitching change of the day. They go to the right-hander Zach Pop with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Kevin Gausman close to finishing off the 6th, but over 100 pitches. He issued a 4th walk of the start, and so John Schneider goes into his pen. Pop brought on to face Carlos Santana, switch hitter batting left, who knocked in the first run of the game for the Twins on an RBI single last inning, came around to score himself. 2-0 Minnesota, bottom of the 6th. 2 on, 2 outs. And Pop, the righty with an ERA just below 6, sets at the belt. His pitch home. Hit back foul, a sinker, middle of the plate, 0-1.
And over his last few outings, Zach Pop, regardless of the numbers, has looked incredible. The fastball has been upper 90s. It's been spotted in the strike zone, and there's been a ton of downward action.
Righty looks at second and delivers. Just misses, or no, it's called a strike. That one definitely low. Carlos Santana leaned his head back. It's 0-2. And a lot of downward movement on that sinker. But that's probably a lot owed to Alejandro Kirk there to make that a strike. Now 0-2 is a cutter up and in on the hands and hit back foul by Santana.
That's a tough pitch. 95 miles an hour cutting in on the hands of Carlos Santana. The only thing that he could do there is just try to foul it off, and he did just that.
Sinker, cutter, slider for Pop. Another 0-2. Down and in. Carlos Santana has been a thorn in the Blue Jays side, not just this year, but especially this year. Homered in all 3 games in Toronto when the Twins were at Rogers Center in May. 1-2. Checked his swing on a sinker down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two outs, runners on first and second. The 2-2. Sinker hit in the air, center field. Varsho jogging back now, backpedaling, makes the catch in front of the track and ends the inning. Job well done by Zach Pop. He ends the 6th and makes it a pretty solid line on the day for Kevin Gausman. Still 2-0 Twins, though, as we go to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hey, Blue Jays fans, are you ready to hit a home run with your next roof? Introducing GAF Timberline HDZ shingles, designed to keep your roof looking and feeling like a winner, rain or shine. GAF is proud to be the official shingle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Visit homedepot.ca and search GAF to learn more about how GAF Timberline HDZ roofing shingles can elevate your home to the next level. GAF, we protect what matters most.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball cracked to center field, to the wall, to the track. It's gone.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue. Blue Jays in the 7th inning, trailing the Twins 2-0. Pablo Lopez is pitched to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Misses outside, 1-0. Blue Jays with 3 hits off Lopez in this game, but no runs yet. 1-0. Called strike. And none of those hits have come from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's 0 for 2 today with a pair of groundouts. Pitch to Guerrero. Up and in, ball 2. Vlad still one of the hottest in baseball, hitting well over 400 in his last 39 games coming into this one. 2-1. Swing and a bouncing ball over the mound, picked up by the second baseman Julien, who throws it over to first, and there's 1 out.
Well, that's just tough luck for Vlad. He hit that ball hard on the ground up the middle, but Julien was played perfectly right up the middle. An easy play for him. He throws on to first base for the out.
Gives us a sec to look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, where the no-hit bid is still going for the Astros, but not for Framber Valdez. He's taken out of the game for Houston after 7 innings and 98 pitches. Houston still no-hitting Kansas City in the 8th. First pitch to Spencer Horwitz outside, ball 1. 2-0 Twins, 1 out, bases empty, top of the 7th. Horwitz had the first Blue Jays hit of the day and the only one to the outfield. 1-0. Called strike. And on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, as we were speaking, Kyle Isbell comes up with a single, breaks up the Astros no-hit bid. 1-1. Swing and a miss at a curveball that dropped below the zone, 1-2.
Combined no-hitters don't really excite me that much.
No, I don't think they get anyone going that much. One, 2. Swing and a line drive, right field line, hooking toward the corner. It's down on the edge of the grass and bouncing on the track. Horwitz around first, gunning for second. The slide in there, and he's out. Throw comes in from Wallner, and they get Horwitz at second. He couldn't believe the call from Nick Lentz, though, and that leads me to believe that the Blue Jays are at least going to give this a look.
Yeah, he immediately looked into the dugout, into John Schneider, and started tapping his helmet. I'm not sure what that means, but it probably means I got my foot in there, take a look, and he's standing on second base waiting for them to make the call.
The Blue Jays are going to challenge. Horwitz may be pulling something from his Buffalo days.
Toronto is challenging the out call at second base.
The tap on the head is how you actually challenge pitches at AAA Buffalo. It's not the signal that you use to challenge calls in the majors. That's more of the earmuffs or the headset. But the Blue Jays are going to challenge this one. Oh, and we haven't seen a great look yet. But it's a close one.
Is it too close to overturn? That's my question.
It might be. Horwitz with a feet-first slide, and his right leg was extended, which was the closer leg to Willie Castro. I'd lean if it was 50-50 that he got in there, but it's obviously not 50-50. Horwitz is out until proven safe.
Spencer Horwitz and Willie Castro are both watching the replay on the big screen at Target Field together, smiling, laughing, probably giving each of their opinions on what they think is going to happen. But I think he got his foot in there. He is safe, but the call on the field is out, and it's too close to change, in my opinion.
This is a big one. If the Blue Jays get this overturned, runner on second, 1 out, they bring the tying run to the plate. If not, it's 2 outs, bases empty, and Pablo Lopez is just a couple pitches away from getting through 7. Looks like we're about to get the call.
After review, the call on the field stands. The runner is out. Toronto will lose their count.
Like you said, just seemed like they didn't have enough to really make an overturn. The call stands, so it'll be a single for Horwitz, but an outfield assist for Matt Wallner, who played it well off the track and tossed it on a line to Willie Castro to save a base runner for Lopez.
Yeah, I like the aggressiveness of that. You have 1 out in the inning. You want to get to second base. You want to potentially score a run in this inning. It's a big run. I like the aggressiveness there. It's just bad luck for the Blue Jays.
Pitch now to Addison Barger. Low ball 1. So 2 outs and the base is empty, top of the 7th. Blue Jays with 4 hits against Lopez, but all singles, and only Horwitz with hits to the outfield. 1-0. Barger bounces it right side, right at the second baseman Julian, who throws it over quickly and ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left for the Blue Jays. 7th inning stretch in Minnesota, still 2-0 for the Twins. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation.
First to the plate, Pizza Pizza's big hitter, Fixed Rate Pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation.
Hey everybody, thanks for hanging out with us tonight for this Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Are you an insider yet? Have you hit that subscribe button? Please join our awesome community of Toronto sports fans right here on Toronto Sports Insider, where we go live every single Toronto sports game. Blue Jays, we've got Leaf season coming up, Argos games, Raptors season in the fall. It's all here on Toronto Sports Insider. Thanks for joining our team, and we'll see you guys back in the chat.
On the hunt for this season's winner. You didn't know what was going to happen next. America's Got Talent. All new Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 8, 7 Central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the 7th inning in Minnesota. The Blue Jays trailing the Twins 2-0. Zach Pop back on the mound for Toronto, facing Ryan Jeffers, the number 8 hitter and catcher for the Twins. Pop with a breath and the pitch. Sinkers, strike one. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Pop came into the game to get the final out of the 6th and closed the line on Kevin Gausman's day. 0-1. Swing and a bouncer back to the mound. Pop bobbles it, picks it up, throws over to first for the out. 1 down.
Zach Pop has really found something. That first fastball started off the plate and then came back over the plate with that good fade, that good sink at 97 miles an hour. If he can just harness that and really just work the bottom of the strike zone, he's going to be a good late inning reliever for this team.
Pitching in the 7th now with the Blue Jays down 2-0. He deals to Austin Martin. Pop twirling the ball behind his back, tucks it now into his glove, belt high. And the pitch. Up and in, ball 1. Mentioned the line of Gausman, 5 2/3 today, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. (1-0). Broken bat bouncer over the mound, charging in the second baseman Wagner. Gloves, throws on the run to first, 2 outs.
Yeah, Kevin Gausman was great through 4. He was spotting his fastball really well. And then after the 4th inning, he kind of lost it, and he really couldn't locate that fastball much at all.
I think he'll take it, though, after giving up 6 to the Twins, 6 earned each of the last 2 times he faced them. Almost pitches 6 and gives up 2. Zach Pop pitches a clean inning of work, but he'll come out with 2 outs, and the Blue Jays go to the lefty, Brendan Little, who will be on the mound next. First, let's go back to today's host at Baseball Control. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks, guys. And before we check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, don't forget we do have Jays Talk this evening. I have a solo edition of the post-game show, so stay up late with me. Send me your calls and your texts, 590-590, name and location. That's the People's Text line. It is always open. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. I'll throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. Okay, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. We'll wrap up on the Paralympic updates. The Canadian men's wheelchair basketball team opening with an 83-68 win over France. Colin Higgins had 38 points for Canada, and co-flag bearer Pat Anderson putting up a triple-double. 31 points, 12 rebounds, 13 assists. Canada will play Great Britain very early. So if you want to wake up, you're going to have to get some coffee. Set your alarms. 6:45 a.m. Eastern, 3:45 a.m. Pacific tomorrow morning. And they'll play Germany on Monday morning to wrap up group play. The NFL season drawing nearer begins in less than a week. If you didn't see this, the Brandon Ayuk saga officially over. He signed a deal yesterday that ties him to San Francisco through 2028. A 4-year deal worth $120 million. He gets $76 million in guarantees. Elsewhere in San Fran, left tackle Trent Williams continues to hold out, and a resolution does not seem to be close, according to a variety of NFL insiders. We also have another extension to discuss, albeit for a coach. Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel signing a new deal that'll extend him through 2028. And the Chargers reaching an agreement with Cameron Dicker the kicker. A 4-year, $22 million extension makes him one of the top 5 highest paid kickers in the NFL. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Back to the action we go. Brendan Little now on the mound. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. The lefty throws his first pitch inside to Willie Castro, and his outing is underway, his 37th of the season. Little with an ERA just below 4. They bring Little in to turn around Castro, the switch hitter, now batting right for the first time today. 1-0. Curveball drops in for strike 1. 2 outs, nobody on, home half of the 7th. 2-0 for the Twins, both runs coming in the 5th. The 1-1. Swing and a miss at another curveball. That one bounced almost in front of the plate, probably right beside the plate, but so much movement, and he throws an 87-mile-per-hour curveball. It's 1-2.
Yeah, that tells you just how nasty that curveball is. It almost bounced in front of the plate, like you said. A lot of downward action, and the velocity is a lot higher than most curveballs. It almost has slider velocity, but it has curveball break.
Little leaning forward now, dangling his left arm beside him. Comes set at the bell. 1-2. Bounced another curveball, but this time Castro lays off of it. Sinker, cutter, curve for Little. 2-2. Bounced another curve, more near the back foot of Castro. Again, he lays off. It's full count.
And I don't know if you noticed this, Ben, but Brendan Little is bringing back the mustache.
It's good news, in my opinion. He is coming off a tough start. 2 earned runs in an inning, maybe trying to switch things up. 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Pounded the sinker inside and gets Castro to swing over top of it. A strikeout for his only out to end the bottom of the 7th. 2-0 Twins as we go to the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 2024 season is approaching.
Focus on the football, fellas. Focus, focus.
And Sirius XM NFL Radio brings you down to the field for an all-access pass to your favorite team.
You do your best to put yourself in position to get the result you want.
From the regular season through Super Bowl 59, hear every NFL game all season long on Sirius XM.
Touchdown!
And if you missed any of NFL Radio's training camp tour, you can get it right now on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription? What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
This is Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and host of the award-winning podcast, Black Diamonds. This week, we discuss the career of one of the greatest, if not the greatest, power hitter of all time, the legendary Josh Gibson.
To receive the award with Josh Gibson's name on it, because all everybody ever talked about was Babe Ruth. It just hit different.
Listen to Black Diamonds right now on the all-new Sirius XM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 8th inning and time running out for the Blue Jays. Down 2-0. Toronto trying to come back in this game, but it's still Pablo Lopez for the Twins, and he blows 95 by Alejandro Kirk on his 90th pitch of the start to begin this top of the 8th, 0-1. Kirk asks for time after the first pitch. For Lopez, 4 singles allowed in this game. That's all. And Kirk now talking with John Schneider and Voon Chong coming out as well, part of the training staff for the Blue Jays. Seems like there's some concern after that swing.
It looks like Voon is squeezing Alejandro's left thumb. Not really sure what that could be, but testing the grip strength. Looks like Alejandro's all right.
Looked like he just bit his thumb and then walked back toward the box. I could be wrong. But he was shaking his bottom hand after that swing, and clearly something was wrong. Immediately asked for time and turned back to the dugout. But he's back in the box, and now the 0-1 from Lopez. Swing and a fly ball deep center field. Martin going back at the track, makes the catch. 1 out.
Well, he baited him into a fastball right down the middle. Pablo Lopez throws that thing 94, that four-seamer, very hittable pitch, and Alejandro drilled that thing to center about 5 feet from the wall for out number 1.
That's one of Kirk's 10 hardest hit balls all season. Hit it over 106 miles an hour, but to the wrong spot. And now with 1 out, Ernie Clement coming up.
He's still messing with that thumb, though, as he's running back to the dugout. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Brian Servant in this game.
Lopez's pitch now to Clement is hit foul to the right, 0-1. Pablo Lopez is absolutely dealt in this game. Twins have a contingency plan. Griffin jacks up, their typical 8th inning guy. Also, the closer, Joan Duran, is getting loose, too. 0-1 pitch, hit on the ground, foul, 0-2.
And we definitely know how good Duran is.
Yeah, he is not having his best season, but even with less velocity than usual this year, is still one of the hardest throwers in all of baseball. Oh-2. Hit down the right field line, foul, slicing into the seats. Twins, though, obviously are very happy with this Lopez performance. They've had some struggles in the bullpen as of late, and to have Lopez here pushing for 8 innings potentially is massive for Minnesota. Twins have lost 4 in a row, trying to snap that tonight. 0-2 to Clement. Outside, and Ernie somehow reaches out and pokes it foul to stay alive.
Yeah, that was way off the plate. A pretty good sweeper from Pablo Lopez, but Ernie Clement, again, so good at staying alive. Just sticks the bat out and barely gets the end of it off on that ball, but lives to see another day.
And now another 0-2. In the dirt, swing and a miss, strike 3. Jeffers applies the tag to Clement, and he's going to be out. He's talking to the home plate umpire, Lance Barksdale. I don't know if he thought he hit it foul or if he thought there was catcher's interference. Catcher's interference is reviewable. Whether he tipped it foul or not isn't. And the Blue Jays are looking at it, so I'm going to have to assume that Ernie thinks that there was catcher's interference maybe, but...
Yeah, it looked like Ernie was pointing at the catcher.
Blue Jays aren't going to review it either way, so Clement goes down on a swinging strikeout. Only the 3rd strikeout for Lopez in the start. And now 2 outs, and Leo Jimenez up. Or pardon me, Nathan Lucas to the plate, the pitch. Down and away, ball 1.
Yeah, we just saw the slow motion replay on that last swing from Ernie Clement. I mean, it looked to me like nothing really happened. Didn't hit the ball, didn't hit the glove. I don't know what he was pointing at.
1-0. Outside, ball 2. If Lopez can get Lucas out, he'll match his season high with 8 innings pitched. Did it in Oakland in late June. 2-0. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
Big swing from Nathan Lucas right there. Fastball right down the middle. A 2-0 fastball obviously has the green light on that count.
7 homers in the minors for Lucas this year. 2-1. Foul tip, 2-2. Actually popped out of the glove of Jeffers, so just a foul ball. 2-2, and that was 96 from Lopez, albeit poorly located, on his 100th pitch of the game. He palms up a new ball before pitch 101. Trying to get through 8 for the 2nd time this year. The righty winds and offers. Just off the plate outside. 3-2.
Well, Lance Barksdale stepped back. It looked like he was about to ring him up, but chose not to.
I have to say, I think it's actually been a very well umpired game behind the plate from Lance Barksdale today. 3-2. Swing and a line drive, center field, base hit for Lucas. First hit of the season comes in his 2024 debut, and the Blue Jays bring the tying run to the plate.
And that was just a changeup. It actually had pretty good sink to it, but Nathan Lucas stays on it. Just drills that thing up the middle. Actually off the end of the bat. Didn't get all of it, but I'm sure Nathan Lucas will take it.
And Rocco Baldelli out of the dugout, jogging to the mound. Hasn't made a point yet. It looks like Lopez is trying to reason with him to stay in this ball game. Two highest leverage relievers for Minnesota are up in the pen, but they are going to leave Pablo Lopez in the game, much to the delight of the Target Field crowd.
Well, Rocco actually jogged out to the mound, so that usually tells me that they're probably going to keep that pitcher in the ball game. I don't know what they were talking about, maybe asking if he wants to stay in the ball game. You know the answer to that one, though.
Maybe telling him Leo Jimenez is his last batter, so give him everything. Top of the order is up next. Jimenez 1 for 2 today, representing the tying run. The pitch. Called strike at the knees on a heck of a sweeper, 0-1. Blue Jays down 2-0, out hitting the Twins 5-4. Jimenez has one of those hits, came back in the 6th. Oh-1. Way outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lucas on first can run a little bit. Not sure if they want to take chances, but 4 stolen bases at AAA this year. Turn and throw over to first, and Lucas is back in there.
And there's a big hole on the right side of the infield. Edward Julian is shaded towards second base. And then Carlos Santana is holding on Nathan Lucas at first base. We've seen Leo shoot that hole on the right side before.
1-1. Inside, almost hit Jimenez. 2 balls, 1 strike. Three home runs for Leo in 42 major league games. Had a bit of a power surge a couple weeks ago. 2-1. Swing and a soft bouncer to third. Charging in Lewis. Bare hands throws on to first. And the ball is not in time. He's safe. It's another infield single for Jimenez, his 2nd of the game. Up to second base is Lucas. And the Blue Jays now bring the go-ahead run to the plate in the form of Dalton Varsho.
Yeah, this is a big at-bat for Dalton Varsho. I don't know if Pablo Lopez will get to pitch against him, but Royce Lewis made an incredible attempt at that pitch, or at that slow roller from Leo Jimenez, bare-handing it, making a pretty good throw to first base, but not in time to get Jimenez.
It's a bang-bang play. If Leo's any slower, they get him. But Jimenez with the single, 2 on, and Rocco Baldelli will go to his bullpen now. He makes the point for a right-hander. We'll see which one it is between Jackson and Duran. Blue Jays trying to stage a late comeback. 2 on for Toronto, 2 outs top of the 8th. 2-0. Minnesota leads right now. Let's go back to baseball control. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, guys. And before we check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, one more reminder that we do have Jays Talk tonight. I have the solo post-game show tonight, so stay up with me. Send me your calls and your texts. You can text me at 590-590, name and location. That's the People's text line, which is always open. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. For the numbers to call, I'll throw those out for you after this game is in the books. You guys know the drill. All right, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. I mentioned this earlier, but the NFL season drawing nearer, beginning in less than a week. We somewhat knew this would happen. We've talked about this before on the out-of-town scoreboards, but it was confirmed today with the NFL season opener. Again, less than a week away, Chiefs wide receiver Hollywood Brown has been ruled out by Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. Though, again, we did know the shoulder injury he suffered very early in the preseason would likely keep him out for 2 to 3 weeks to start the year, so he will not play next week. On the other side, the Ravens got star tight end Mark Andrews back on the practice field today. So he is on track back on track to start next week, at least for now. Lots of news about the physically unable to perform list if you missed it, or the PUP list. Dolphins receiver Odell Beckham Jr., Ravens running back Keaton Mitchell, Panthers rookie running back Jonathan Brooks, and Browns running back Nick Chubb are just a few of many that will miss the first 4 games of the season, though they are eligible to return after those 4 weeks are up. Around Major League Baseball, some scores as well. Lots of finals in the books as well. The Guardians narrowly beating the Pirates 10-8. The Yankees doubling up the Cardinals in the Bronx 6-3. The Rays getting smoked by the Padres at the Trop. San Diego wins 13-5. And the Boston Red Sox beating the Tigers in extras 7-5. Boston wins at Comerica Park in Detroit. Cedar Rafaela and Jarren Duran homering in the top of the 10th inning. And then Boston would hold on again. They win 7-5. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Griffin Jack's on the mound for the Twins. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. Rocco Baldelli going to his most reliable reliever this season. The righty Griffin Jax making his 61st appearance of the year. Earned run average at 1.70 for Jax, and he strikes out almost 12 per 9. His job, keep the Twins up 2-0. There are 2 outs and 2 on for the Blue Jays. And the pitch now to Dalton Varsho is hit back foul, 0-1.
Yeah, he's got a big fastball. That first fastball there was 98 miles an hour. Dalton Varsho just fouling it back. But he leads with the sweeper, 89, uses that thing 38% of the time. A true bullpen arm out there.
Jax looks at second in the 0-1. Sweeper hit foul, 0-2. Sweeper, four-seamer, change, sinker, and curve for Jax. Blue Jays saw him twice in this ballpark in the Wild Card Series last year. Pitched in the 8th inning of both of the Twins' playoff wins over the Blue Jays. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 99 outer part of the zone gets Varsho. And that will do it for the top of the 8th inning. The Blue Jays threaten with 2 outs with a pair of hits, but do not score. And it's still 2-0 Minnesota, middle of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2menintruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2menintruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2menintruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2menintruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
I am by your side. Got a heart so big, on this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 99 right down the middle, beats Manzardo.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays baseball, bottom of the 8th inning. 2-0 Twins over Blue Jays, and a pinch hitter for Minnesota. Manuel Margot is in the game, batting for Trevor Larnach. Brendan Little delivers for the Blue Jays, and the lefty gets a swing and a miss from the right-handed hitter, 0-1. Margot brought on to flip the platoon advantage. It was going to be a lefty hitter in Larnach. 0-1 pitch is a cutter backdoor for strike 2. Little struck out Willie Castro to end the 7th, back out for the 8th. And the 0-2 pitch. Spiked it to the plate, almost hit Margot in the back, but it bounced by him to the backstop.
Eric Swanson is getting loose in that Blue Jays bullpen. I think he might be loose already. He's just standing on the rubber, kind of watching the game. Probably going pitch for pitch with Brendan Little.
It's interesting to think about when they would go to Swanson this inning. 1-2. Check swing, curve in the dirt, 2-2. So Little could have been swapped out for a new pitcher, even though he didn't face 3 batters in the 7th because there was an inning break. But once he comes out for the 8th, now he's got to satisfy his 3-batter minimum. So he has to face the righty Royce Lewis next, and then it's back-to-back lefty hitters for the Twins again. 2-2. Outside ball 3.
So you're right. It really doesn't make a lot of sense for Eric Swanson to be standing out there. But, I mean, maybe he's just out there in case things go sideways.
Perhaps it's protection against the potential of pinch hitters. 3-2 pitch down and in ball 4, and that's going to be a leadoff walk issued to Margot.
That's a tough one for Brendan Little. He goes ahead 0-2, and then he ends up losing Margot. It's a no-no when you're out there on the mound.
And you really don't want to let the Twins stretch out their lead anymore. You're already going to have to try and score against the Minnesota closer down 2-0. Any run is tough to get off Tehran, let alone 3 or 4. Little with the lefty move over to first. Margot back in, standing up. Yohan Duran is really tough. And even if it's still Griffin Jacks for the Twins, he's really tough too. Pitch to Royce Lewis, misses low, 1-0.
A lot of high velocity coming out at the back end of that bullpen.
That's what teams want. They want 98 to 104 if it's the case of Duran. One-0 pitch is bounced back to the mound. Little turns, throws to second one. Wagner transfers, throws to first. Dug out on the forehand side by Horwitz. 1-4-3 double play.
Yeah, Royce Lewis wasn't really running hard down the line. They probably beat that, or they got him by about 2 steps, 3 steps at first base. He's kind of wincing. I don't know if anything's wrong with him, but let's hope not.
Yeah, it was an awkward run down to first base for Lewis, a guy who we've mentioned in this game has dealt with a lot of injuries in his career. Hopefully he's all right. And here's Matt Wallner now with 2 outs. Left on left matchup, first one of this inning for Little. And the pitch is a curveball for strike 1. Twins 2, Blue Jays nothing. Toronto will have the part of the order up that you want in the top of the 9th. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 0-2. Will Wagner will lead off. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will bat second that inning. And Spencer Horwitz will hit third, 2-3-4 in the Toronto order.
And it does look like it's going to be Duran in that 9th inning, as he's getting hot right now in that Minnesota Twins bullpen.
0-2. Check swing. And called strike 3 from the home plate umpire Lance Barksdale. He freezes Wallner on a curveball. And it's a scoreless inning and a third in this outing for Brendan Little. Blue Jays need 2 to tie, 3 to take the lead as we go to the 9th. It's 2-0 Twins at Target Field. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Everything a football fan needs is on the SiriusXM app. The biggest college football games.
Holy smokes, what a play!
Every NFL game with your hometown announcers.
It's a miracle in Las Vegas!
Winning fantasy football advice from the experts on Fantasy Sports Radio.
I'm just not overpaying for quarterbacks in a Superflex league.
And passionate personalities on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
I don't want to hear it. You're not winning a championship. Can we mellow out? Let's move on, please.
No matter how you follow football, it's all on the SiriusXM app.
I am all in, baby.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
while you're listening to this game on Sirius XM. We're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159.
Blue Jays fans, after this game, get back to what's really important. Your fantasy football team. We're talking about it right now on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and the Sirius XM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Top of the ninth inning, Twins 2, Blue Jays nothing, and the hard-throwing right-hander Yohan Duran is out on the mound right now, making his 44th appearance of the season, looking for save number 19 on the year.
And if you thought Griffin Jacks threw hard, just wait.
Duran, one of the hardest throwers in all of Major League Baseball, even with his velocity a little bit down this year, averages 100 on the four-seamer. Last year averaged 102. He winds and delivers to Will Wagner. 101 just above the zone, ball one.
And you know what the funny thing is about that 101? It doesn't really look like 101. It just all of a sudden gets on you.
Step to the left, kick, and the 1-0. 100 above the zone, 2-0. Duran, 26 years old, from the Dominican Republic, 6'5", 230 pounds. 2-0 pitch. Called strike 100 at the top of the zone. With all that velocity, though, it hasn't necessarily been the best year for the Twins closer. His 2-1 is cut on and missed 2-2. 3.77 ERA in 47 appearances, up more than a run from his ERA last year. Although 18 for 20 in save opportunities, he's been clinical in those situations. 2-2 pitch, hit foul, 102, and Wagner got enough of it to stay alive.
In his last 5 2/3 innings, he's given up 11 hits.
Which shocks you for a guy throwing that hard.
And with movement, it's not straight.
2-2. Up top for ball 3, 102, but it ran way arm side. Some defensive changes for the Twins right now. In left field, it's Manuel Margot, right field Max Kepler, and second base Kyle Farmer. 3-2 to Wagner. Swing and a foul ball to the left. Got on 101. So Farmer in at second for the Twins means Julien's out of the game. Kepler in right means Wallner's out of the game. And Margot in left means that Larnach's out of the game. Next pitch to Wagner is hit on the ground. Up the middle into right center field. A base hit. After fouling off 2 100-plus fastballs, Wagner hits a 101-mile-per-hour four-seamer on the ground through the hole. And the Blue Jays will bring the tying run to the plate with nobody out.
Yeah, that was an incredibly impressive at-bat. Didn't really hit that ball all that hard. Kind of got it off the end of the bat, but just enough to bounce it up the middle and bring the tying run to the plate in Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Chance of Vladdy at Target Field from the Blue Jays fans. From the stretch, the pitch from Duran. Swing and a line drive, and it's stopped at second by Farmer. He goes to second base for one, throw over to first, not in time. Farmer picked it up on a bounce. It was a soft liner that skipped just before him. And the Twins able to get one out there, not two. So Guerrero replaces Wagner now at first.
Well, I believe that split finger broke Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s bat, and he hit kind of a weak line drive up the middle. Farmer doing a good job stepping on second base, throwing across his body to first base. Vlad luckily just beat it out. One out, runner on first now.
And Spencer Horwitz up, who's had a nice day, 2 for 3. The pitch. Strike one. When Horwitz just came up, or early on when he came up with the Blue Jays this year, he had a great 12-pitch at-bat against Emmanuel Clase of Cleveland, who in a lot of ways is a similar pitcher to Duran in terms of velocity, also throws a splitter. Horwitz ended up working a walk in that at-bat. Oh, 1. Swing and a line drive off the glove of the pitcher, snared by the shortstop. Castro steps on second one, throw to first in time. Double play to win the game for the Twins. Blue Jays get a leadoff single, but 2 ground balls with the tying run at the plate end up finishing this game off. Minnesota shuts out Toronto and takes the opener 2-0.
Well, the Blue Jays had their chances late in the ball game. They had runners on first and second, nobody out, but they couldn't get a run across. But Pablo Lopez was just brilliant tonight, going 7 2/3 innings. I thought he was going to go CG for a while there, had that pitch count way down, but the Blue Jays later on in the ballgame kind of made him creep that pitch count just a little bit too high for Rocco Baldelli, and he came out of that ballgame. But Pablo Lopez was great tonight, and he's been great for the better part of the month as well.
He and the Twins pick up the win in this series opener. We're going to take a quick step aside, and when we come back, we'll wrap it up and send you over to Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali. Again, the final score, Twins 2, Blue Jays nothing. Back in a second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza, and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays, and with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fielded at second, Horwitz steps on the bag, throws to first, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays fall 2-0 to the Twins in the series opener at Target Field. Thanks so much for sticking with us. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. We'll get you over to Blue Jays Talk in just a sec, but first, let's look back at this one. Performance to be watched and remembered from Pablo Lopez, one of his best of the year. But let's start on the other side, Chris. Kevin Gausman starts for the Blue Jays. The Twins have been all over Gausman recently, and he came out of this one with a pretty decent start. I think one that a lot of people would have taken before the game. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. What did you think of it overall?
Well, I think that if the Blue Jays took advantage of some of the innings where they had guys on base and they didn't really move anybody over, I think this would have been a different ball game. But Kevin Gausman, like you said, I think that he takes this box score. It's not a bad box score, especially against the Minnesota Twins, where he struggled so much over the course of his career. But he pitched really well early on. The first 4 innings, the fastball had a lot of command, and then all of a sudden he came out for that 5th inning, and it was a little bit erratic. He lost control of his off-speed stuff. He was leaving the split finger arm side high, and then it was kind of downhill from there.
Gausman ends up giving up 2 in the 6th inning. Jose Miranda double. Carlos Santana knocked him in with a single, and after a bunt to move some runners over, Willie Castro hit a sac fly that Nathan Lucas crashed into the wall to make the catch on. Blue Jays, like you said, just really couldn't get much going. How much do you attribute Toronto's no runs in this game to them? How much do you attribute to Pablo Lopez, who was very good today?
Well, Pablo Lopez came into this game on a 13-inning scoreless streak, so we knew that it was going to be a problem for this offense, and he carried that streak into this game. He was great today. That fastball is just electric. It was 95 to 97 miles an hour. He mixed in the changeup. He mixed in the sweeper. I mean, he's a frontline guy. He's your number one. When he's on, he's as good as it gets. And tonight, he was really as good as it gets. I love Pablo Lopez. I've seen him pitch really well over the last couple of years, and tonight was no different.
7 2/3, 6 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts for Lopez, who did not give up an extra base hit in this game, partly because of some good defense. Spencer Horwitz was thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double, and the Blue Jays shut out in the game. They end up scoring no runs on 7 hits, no errors, leave 4 on. For Minnesota, 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors. They leave 5 on. Pablo Lopez is the winner today, 13-8 now on the year. Gausman picks up the loss. He moves to 12-10, and Yohan Duran comes in for the 9th inning, and after giving up a leadoff single, gets a ground ball for a fielder's choice off the bat of Vladdy, and then Spencer Horwitz hits into a game-ending double play, and for Yohan Duran, his 19th save of the season. This one took just under 2.5 hours. Rowdy crowd on a beautiful day at Target Field, but the Blue Jays fall 2-0. Toronto goes to 66-71. The Minnesota Twins are 73-61. Fun matchup coming up tomorrow. If you're free at 7 o'clock on a Saturday, Jose Barrios back in his old stomping grounds, pitching against Minnesota, and Zebby Matthews, an exciting rookie for the Twins, will go up against him. Again, 7:10 first pitch, 7 o'clock game coverage, some local pregame starting here on Fan 590 in Toronto. At 6 o'clock, Blue Jays talk after the game. As always, we hope you can join us then. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, from our technical director, Tom Young, producer, Nick Blackmore, host, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Get your calls, get your texts in. It's Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali, starting right now.
Well, people, stop me if you've heard this before. A game played between the Blue Jays and the Twins at Target Field. Kevin Gausman and Pablo Lopez on the mound. It resulted in a win for the Twins in a game in which the Jays had trouble scoring. That was the Coles Notes, let's call it, of the game on October 3rd, 2023. That was the opening game of the playoffs, which we all choose to forget, perhaps. But certainly I do. And the Coles Note tonight, certainly as well. August 30th, 2024, the Blue Jays lose 2-0 to the Twins in Minnesota to begin this 3-game set in the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm Show Ali. You're listening to Jays Talk live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. You can give me a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text me as well, 590-590, name and location. That's the People's Text Line. It is always open. Standard messaging and data rates may apply when you do text me. Again, 590-590. Maybe we can just play whatever Blair and Barker had said after game 1 of that playoff game. Actually, if memory serves, the Jays actually scored a run in that game 1 off Pablo Lopez. So situations aside, it's a little different. Playoff game versus a regular season game in a lost season. But tonight was probably a little less than when it comes to comparing. Tonight actually was, unfortunately, the most 2023-esque game since, I would say, at least the All-Star break. The offense has looked less lethargic as of late, which is definitely good. I think there is some truth to the idea that, the young call-ups, there's some youth injected into the lineup, some guys who had not yet seen a lot of major league pitching and vice versa. Pitchers had not seen a lot of guys like Clement, Horwitz certainly aside, Will Wagner and Loperfido and so on, all these different guys. But so tonight, unfortunately, despite all of that, it's a little too reminiscent, I would say, of the early parts of the season, but certainly, definitely reminiscent of last season. And look, Pablo Lopez, he's an ace, right? Like, even if this year has not been his best overall, he's been filthy since the All-Star break. And he showed, I think, the difference between, and we've done a lot of these shows this year, but between batting against the Angels, for example, and an ace who has been nasty since the All-Star break, and a team overall currently in a wild card spot. And hey, for all of that, the Twins only won by 2 runs. And again, I know it's like sometimes I can be the king of moral victories, but again, Kevin Gausman was good, if not elite tonight. He got no run support, but Pablo Lopez and I would say Joan Duran and Griffin Jacks ended up being the 2 most reliable relievers, ended up being the difference for the Twins. But again, the Blue Jays lose 2-0 to the Twins at Target Field. All right, let's talk a little bit about Kevin Gausman. Mainly because I feel like that's like the main thing we have to talk about after a game where the Blue Jays scored no runs. But Kevin Gausman, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, both of which were earned, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, 103 pitches thrown, 58 strikes. So entering this game, I was really curious on how Gausman would work his pitches because for whatever reason, right, the Twins of all teams have been able to get to him pretty frequently. Like, for whatever reason, they have the book on Gausman's usage of the splitter, particularly. Like, they know when he likes to throw it, where it's going to be, the counts, and so on. So how do you combat that? Like, how do you avoid getting got when the other team apparently knows you really well? And to start, at least, and things did change as the game went on, and I do wonder if fatigue simply played a factor in this because he looked like he was drenched in sweat. I'm sure it was pretty hot in Minnesota at Target Field at this point, like late August. It can be pretty muggy there. And he didn't look super comfortable. I'm sure that's at least a factor. But early on, at least, I think the solution to that is you just don't throw a lot of splitters, right? He threw very few splitters early in the game, instead going with some really low fastballs, which, as we know, is Gausman's next best pitch that he's leaned on quite a bit. The 4-seamer was being delivered as close to the bottom of the zone as possible, and his command was on point. Like, he was lasering that thing right at the edges of the zone. He was freezing guys early on, maybe guys who had not seen him a lot, like Austin Martin, for example, bit of a younger guy, or at least a prospect who had not seen a lot of Major League service time so far in his career. And even when some of the veteran bats started to key up on him throwing low in the zone, he had also dialed up the velo a little bit, and they were getting some weak swings on the ball. He did start to mix in the splitter a little more as the game went on. It kind of looked like because he was throwing the fastball so low, the Twins were having some trouble. Again, at least the first time through the order, maybe the first almost 2 times through the order, because I think the trouble really came towards the end of the second time through the order for Gausman. But it looked like they were having trouble differentiating the fastball and the splitter, at least out of his hand, and even where it was coming across the plate. So well done to take some of the advantage away from the Twins batters. But of course, you get to the bottom of the 5th inning, started making some mistakes, right? He was pitching pretty well through that point, but he delivers a 4-seam fastball right down the middle to Jose Miranda. He smacks it for a hard hit double. And then to perhaps the Twins' most veteran bat, Byron Buxton, I guess, is up there too, but he's not available right now. So to the Twins' maybe most veteran bat, and Carlos Santana, a splitter just off the plate, away from Santana, but he gets a good swing on it, and he kind of just pokes it for the RBI single. And I guess Santana has seen a lot of those pitches. The 5th inning kind of snowballed a little bit, right? The Twins came around for the 3rd time through the order, 2 runners in scoring position, walks, generally speaking, hurting old Gausman there with some misplaced splitters. And again, I really do wonder if fatigue got him a little bit, the weather, so on. But he limited the damage to just the 2 runs, and I do understand taking him out when they did. 4 walks. The Twins batters became a little more patient as the game went on, and then the guy who did damage the last time up, and Carlos Santana, comes up. Gausman over 100 pitches. Looked like he was laboring a little bit. I don't know. It seemed like the right decision. I'm certainly here to quibble about not leaving guys out there a little longer, generally speaking, as opposed to how the modern trend of baseball is. But I think it was probably the right move. It's just a shame that Blue Jays didn't give him any run support. 590, name and location. That's the People's Text line, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the text line. Let's go to the text line and see here. Let's see, one's from, here we go. One's from Joe from Huntsville here. And Joe says, with the season gone, it would be nice to see Bo Bichette come back and return to his old self. I miss watching that guy when he's himself. Even though he doesn't want to stay beyond his contract, seeing him dunk bloopers into right field one last time would be a fitting send-off. I think that's a fair reason to want to see Bo. I think it's almost easy to forget. Certainly not for Joe, but I would say for a lot of people, it's been easy to forget that Bo has been one of the more consistent players on the team prior to his injury. I mean, if you think about it this way, right? With Bo Bichette, if you go back a year, I forget the exact date where he suffered that quad injury where it looked a lot more serious, by the way. I think you kind of thought, boy, I mean, like that looked like it could have been a season-ending injury. But he had the quad injury at the end of last season, and he had been pretty consistent up until that point of last year, in a year where offense was super scarce. But Bo Bichette got injured, and then kind of since then, I know there was obviously a whole offseason for him to get right, but then since then, he has really, unfortunately, just been hit with a lot of different injuries that I don't think are that related to one another. Like, is the quad injury related to neck spasms, which is related to calf injuries? I'm not a doctor by any means, so maybe they are. I'm who knows? But I'm going to go on a limb and say no. I think generally speaking, Bo just a little bad luck injury with the injury bug as of late. So I would like to see him come back. Truly, I would like to see him come back too. And I think too, the other reason I'd like to see Bo come back and play well. There are only a couple weeks left in the regular season. There are 25 games. Jays are now 66-71 after the loss. So there are 25 games remaining in the regular season. Let's say Bo comes back in a week, right? Probably that probably would mean, because there's a couple days off next week. So there's 2 more games in this series. There's 2 more games against the Phillies in between that Monday off day, the Thursday off day. And then there's a 3-game set against the Braves in Atlanta next weekend, like this time next week. So that's, let's see, that's 7 games. Right, so that means you could get Bo back after the Atlanta series for the Mets series at the Rogers Center. Let's say he comes back for the first game against the Mets. That would leave you with 18 games, if I'm doing the math correctly. Never do math on the air. It's usually wrong, at least for me, because I'm really bad at math. But I think that would leave you with, if there's 25 games to go, that would leave you with 18 games if Bo comes back for the beginning of the series against the Mets at the Rogers Center. So, 18 games is probably enough for you to kind of showcase the guy to a certain extent. No, I mean, and again, showcase seems like a strong word because I think we all know what Bo is at this point in his career. I really strongly believe that, at some point in the future, whether or not Bo is a Blue Jay in 2025, I have no idea what the answer to that question is. I tend to believe he will not be, but let's just say he is or he's not, whatever the answer to that question is. I have a feeling that Bo, wherever he is, will look back and we'll all look back on 2024 and say, man, what a completely confounding, flabbergasted year. Because it's not something that's very typical for Bo Bichette, right? The other thing, too, is let's say he comes back with 18 to 20 games left in the regular season. I really believe that if you are intending to trade Bo, then the idea is he's got to play at least a little bit, at least to assure other managers that he is not, and again, I'm going to use air quotes here, injury prone. I don't believe he is because a large majority of the injuries, again, I think are unrelated and they came at really different points of the season. But you want to make sure that calf is all right, certainly. But, you want to, if you're someone looking to trade for Bo Bichette and you want to get the form you've seen from him from his rookie season up until like the quad injury from last year. And I know 2022 is weird too. He was quite ungood, let's say, right up until like the end of August, at which point he became like the hottest hitter on planet Earth. But that, even including that, he's still been someone who has been very, very, very consistent over the course of his career, right? So I really do believe that if you're going to get him for the last like 18 to 20 games, and he's going to come back and play every day, you got to think, right? Or near every day. If you're convinced that when he comes back, he's going to be super healthy, then that's got to be, at least for me, that's got to be a reason why you want to see a little bit from Bo Bichette, right? Leo Jimenez has played really well. Not taking anything away from Leo Jimenez. He's played very, very well, and I believe he is a major league player. It just, if you have the option between seeing a little bit more from Leo Jimenez in 20 more games or 18 more games or whatever it ends up being, or seeing Bo Bichette rehabilitate some of his value because he's been injured all season, I think you take the latter, no? At least I would. But Bo Bichette has been so good for so long, I think that's probably... is probably where you go. 590, name and location. That is the People's Text line. Kind of along this, actually. Rob in Vancouver says, nothing about tonight, but Jimenez is next year's shortstop. Flip Bo for something and sign Vlad. Jimenez looks like a shortstop and will flourish, says Rob in Vancouver. So we were just talking about Leo Jimenez, certainly. I think, again, I do tend to think Bo is probably not going to be on the team next year. Probably? Question mark. But Jimenez looks like a major league ball player to me. He really does. I got to say, I've been largely incredibly impressed, certainly with his defensive play at shortstop and also with his offense. I think the only thing is we talk about resource allocation, right, Rob? When we talk about like the idea of spending wisely, let's call it. As much as I do think Leo Jimenez is a starting shortstop, I think it would be fair to be somewhat disappointed if you go into next season. And you know what? I will say it does depend on what else happens with the roster. Like if you go into next season and Leo Jimenez is your starting shortstop, you got some prospects for Bo, but Pete Alonso and like Anthony Santander or Pete Alonso and Tyler O'Neill are on the team, then yeah, okay, you're probably happy with that. And it probably doesn't, not that it doesn't matter, but you probably can get by with your shortstop being, you know, a lesser known name, quote unquote, for example. But I do wonder if it's just shortstop being such a premium position. If let's say Bo is not on the team next year, let's just say for the sake of this discussion, okay? If that is the case, then would it not be better for the Blue Jays with all the money they have available? Because in theory, they have almost $100 million available in theory, or something close to it. Wouldn't it be better for them to go and again, Willy Adames is going to be at the top of everyone's wish list. He has played extremely well. Even if the Brewers want to keep him, he's going to be paid a whole hell of a lot of money. And he is probably going to be like the shortstop market after Adames is not exactly super robust, let's say, right? So he is going to command the $300 million deal from someone. Like, I don't know if he's going to get like the Lindor deal or whatever that looked like, or if he's going to get the Trey Turner deal or whatever that looked like. Maybe it's going to be something around there, I'm guessing, because he's still relatively young and he's hitting the crap out of the ball. But man, I got to say, I think Willy Adames would look a little bit better than Leo. But I mean, again, that's not exactly a knock on Leo Jimenez. I'll say that. Dan from Cole Harbor, are we just guessing Bo wants out? Hard to believe he'll just quit on the Jays. He knows. Oh, I see. He knows he's a part of the problem, so he's staying till they win a playoff series. 3-year contract. Yeah, like in the sense that they signed him to that contract to avoid arbitration, and that he's just going to stay until either he gets signed or traded or leaves in free agency. Obviously, those are the three outcomes. Yeah, it's true. We don't actually know Bo wants out, Dan. This is fair. That's a fair thing to point out. I think the only reason we have these conversations is because of a couple things, right? Bo is one of these guys, and I've only had a very fleeting moments of interactions with Bo, right? I hesitate to even call them conversations, but I think that the problem is we make a lot of comparisons between Bo and, let's say, Vladdy, right? To use these guys as the two polar opposites. Vladdy, for example, his entire career, he's just generally like this. He's like a jovial guy. He's pretty outgoing. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. He smiles a lot. He laughs a lot. When he talks to the media, he's always pretty happy. And with the contract stuff, it's always like, bleep the Yankees. I never want to play in New York. I only ever want to be a Blue Jay. Like, open up the pocketbook. I want to stay here for the rest of my life. I never want to wear another team's uniform. He's so effusive and open with his praise and desire to stay a Blue Jay. And then you have Bo on the so diametrically opposed, right? Like, he's the complete opposite. And again, I sometimes I hesitate to use the word taciturn, because I think taciturn has a negative connotation, but I say it with Bo because he just does not seem to like talking to the media. He's a man of few words. He does not mince words. Let's put it that way, right? Like, if you ever see the post-game commentary, they're like, "Hey, so Bo, how did things go today?" He's like, "Yeah, went well. Yeah, I hit pretty well. The other guys didn't pitch me well." That's how he talks. Like that's just how he communicates. That's not even a bad thing. I think he's probably doing the right thing. Don't want to misconstrue anything you're saying. He's a man of few words. It's not a problem. But I do think, because he's never gone out of his way, 100%, as much as Vladdy, to say, yeah, I never want to leave. I think that's why, right? And the body language hasn't been great this season. I think that's a big part of it. But body language could probably be attributed a little bit to the fact that he's been injured a lot this season. 590, name and location. That's the People's Text line. You can certainly give me a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590. Let's take a quick break. Actually, they just had fireworks wrap up at Target Field. We have the screens on here at Baseball Control, and most of the crowd at Target Field stayed in order to like have some kind of fireworks show. I have no idea what the reason for that is. So maybe it's some kind of holiday in Minnesota. Maybe they're celebrating something. I truly have no idea. But I think that might be one of the more unique things we've seen. The entire crowd basically stayed to maybe it's just Labor Day fireworks on a Friday. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? That was Tom and Nick making that suggestion. And you know what? That's as good a suggestion as I've heard, because I have no idea what else it could be for, unless it's like, I don't know, like the owners of the Twins' birthday or something. Anyways, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if we hear from John Schneider, and certainly go back to the text line 590-590, name and location. A couple more texts here to get through. Chat about the bullpen a little bit as well, and certainly we haven't talked about the offense, which I don't know how long a conversation that's going to be on a night they scored 0 runs, but still, we will still have those conversations on the other side. 590-590, name and location, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers to call. That's the text line as well. You're listening to Jay's Talk, Show Alley with you on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
So, you want to be a Looney Dogger, eh? Every Tuesday Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Plus, stop by the Schneider's Porch, your hot dog headquarters. The destination for a one-of-a-kind hot dog experience with excellent ballpark views. So, whether you're the relish ringleader or 7th-inning snacker, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. Don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
This summer, catch the excitement of Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. From pregame to postgame, Blue Jays Central breaks down what went down and why. When the action heats up on the field, Sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet app take you deeper inside the game. Headlines, scores, highlights, and more.
It is way out of here.
Watch or stream on Sportsnet or listen to every game on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. All summer, only one source brings you closer to the action. Sportsnet, home of the Blue Jays.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball. In time! What a play, Bo Bichette! On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
All right, welcome back to Jay's Talk here on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Show Alley with you here until the bottom of the hour. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. 590-590, name and location. That is the People's Text Line. Standard data and messaging rates may apply, but the People's Text Line is always open. Again, 590-590, name and location. Before we go back to the text line, just want to talk about the bullpen a little bit. And we talked about Kevin Gausman and you know, maybe how the Twins managed to take advantage of some mistakes from him. But I mean, I don't know. 5 2/3 is something you probably take if you're a starting pitcher. 5 2/3 and 2 earned runs. Yes, 4 walks is never great, but it's a line that you could probably win off that line most nights. He gave you a chance to win. Let's put it that way. He did not sink the Blue Jays in this game by any means. Gausman has had a couple of blow-up innings or blow-up starts so far this year. It has not been a year, especially early on, that is up to his very lofty standards. But Kevin Gausman, I mean, he's a guy who has, I think in the last certainly since the All-Star break, but ever since he talked about how pitching has changed and how he changed his arm slot and how he kind of hunches over a little bit more on the mound. And that was a number of starts ago. It wasn't relative that recently, but because of that, he gave you a chance to win. And the Blue Jays did not give you a lot of run support, give him a lot of run support. But I did want to chat a little bit about the bullpen, who also held it down. And we saw Zach Pop tonight and Brendan Little. And I do think going to Zach Pop in that situation, 5 2/3, 2 runners on, says a few things. One, if you're asking John Schneider to construct his circle of trust, Pop is in there. Like, even if he's not in mine right now, he's probably in the Blue Jays circle of trust, certainly for John Schneider, probably because he has not a lot of other options. Because, 2, there's just not a lot of other people, period, you can go to when the starting pitcher falters even just slightly, and you need to keep the score where it is. Like, they have plenty of guys you can go to when the score is blown open, either for or against, but not that many guys who can hold things within a few runs. Like, you can't deploy Yenesis Cabrera or Chad Green in the 6th inning. What if you need them in the 8th or 9th? Would you rather deploy Zach Pop then? I'd say no, generally speaking. And you know what? Pop pitched well enough. He's been largely fine. Maybe a little, I mean, certainly tonight, but he was, maybe he's been hit a little hard, let's put it that way. But it is just another indictment on where that bullpen is, that he probably actually is the next most trusted reliever after Green and Cabrera, even over Swanson at this point, I'd say. And I do wonder with Pop what his ceiling is, or what he can be going forward. There's so much variance with relievers that you never really know, but coming into tonight, in 7 2/3 in the month of August, he'd given up 9 hits and 7 earned runs. Again, this is before tonight, for an ERA of 8.22, and then, tonight he goes out there in an inning of work over 2 separate innings. He had the 1 out, then came in for 2 more outs later, but no hits or walks, and he does it again with some runners on in the 5th to start as well. So there's clearly something there, but I can't help but think his role is so, like, if you're constructing the 2025 bullpen, there probably is a role for Zach Pop, right? There's probably a role for him, but is it the highest leverage role for Zach Pop going forward? I would say, personally, no, which kind of a bummer, right? You want to see a Canadian pitcher do well, but I think we kind of know what Zach Pop is at this stage of his career. And again, like, let's face it, he doesn't need to become an elite closer to have a place in the bullpen, certainly, but I do wonder about him going forward. Brendan Little in the same way, too. I feel like for a good chunk of the season, he went, he kind of like took 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But ultimately, again, tonight, he managed to hold things at Target Field. Again, against a lineup where the offense has not played particularly well for the Twins. The Twins had a pretty awful losing streak coming into tonight, and of course, they snapped that. But generally speaking, the Twins are a better lineup than like the Angels, for example, and Brendan Little played pretty well. But again, I mean, we're talking about Zach Pop, we're talking about Brendan Little, guys who I think in most properly, again, using air quotes here, properly constructed bullpens, they're probably at the back end of the bullpen. They're not the trusted relievers you're deploying to put out fires right when you need them to. And again, there are places for that. Like no bullpen, I would say, or very few bullpens, I would say. Let's put it that way, because there are some really well constructed bullpens, like the Guardians, for example. But I do genuinely wonder when it comes to next year if either of them have a place. I genuinely think yes, but at the very end, like they're like, if we're talking about like 10 people, they're 12 people. They're guys 9 through 12 or in that spot somewhere. But yeah, there's still a long way to go. There's still a lot of room for them to grow. But Brendan Little, Zach Pop, hey, they did the job tonight. Didn't get a lot of run support. 590. Name and location. That's the People's text line. Let's go back to the text line. Alex in Toronto. Alex in Toronto making the comparison between Bo Bichette and Mitch Marner. I think it's like a valid enough comparison. I know a lot of people kind of like roll their eyes because, and not everyone who's a Jays fan is a Leafs fan. A lot of people in this city are. Obviously, I'm in Toronto, which is where baseball control is, but that's not necessarily the case everywhere. But I can see it, right? I mean, Bo is... I find Marner to be a little more combative with the media. Let's put it that way. Whereas Bo is, you know what? He seems a little less interested in the media. There was a text here from, let's see. There's a text here from, here it is. Chris in Scarborough. I appreciate the reply, Chris, because Chris had texted, I think right before we went to break, Chris says, I have little faith in your and others' mind-reading skills regarding what happens with Bo. So I said, okay, if you're going to say that, Chris, you got to let me know what you think what will happen. So Chris says, Vlad and Bo will sign or get traded this winter based on dollars. Reading the tea leaves to try and guess their headspace is fun, but has little bearing on their contract status. I mean, yeah, but if you say like Vlad and Bo will sign or get traded, it's one of those two outcomes, right? Like there aren't any other outcomes. Like, yeah, that's not really like, it doesn't really help, I suppose. I don't know. I just feel like if you don't know what's happening, all you can do is guess, essentially. That's what we're all doing. We're all reading the tea leaves. So I do appreciate the text. Matt in St. Catharines says, if Bo doesn't want to re-sign, don't play him. Let him find his own suitors with a limited sample size, and let's let the next wave thrive. I see why you'd say that, because you do only have a certain amount of time before the end of this season in which you can play the rest of these guys to find out as many answers as humanly possible, right? Because that's what the rest of the season is about. It's about finding out, if Bo does play, it's about finding out what he is post-injury and if he's healthy enough to play at shortstop every single day. I would say it's even finding out a little bit about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and his ability to play more, at least. He was DHing tonight, but more at third base, for example, than he was at first base, because that would change somewhat the calculus going into next season. And are you comfortable enough at getting a passable third baseman defensively while still getting everything you're getting from Vladdy with the bat? Because that would change where you're going to allocate resources going into 2025. But I mean, certainly it's about the youngsters as well. I mean, I think there is still a little bit more to find out about Horwitz and Clement, just generally, but they're both going to be on the team next year. I think that's a given. But you're still finding out a little bit about Will Wagner and Davis Schneider, who has recently lost playing time, Joey Loperfido, and you hope he's okay because he banged his head into the wall at Fenway the other night. And so he didn't play after that, didn't play tonight. So you hope these guys are okay, but you're certainly learning more about them as players. I think that's why you kind of need to play Bo. No, like when he does come back, I almost feel like you need to play him just to find out what's there. Because then if you trade him in the offseason after not finding out what's there, then I almost feel like you're trading him at his lowest possible value or like something near the lowest possible value. I think that's the problem for me. Whereas you kind of need, you kind of want to see him play a little bit more going forward. I see a text here from... it was also from Robin Van. He goes on to say, Jimenez does look every part of Major League shortstop. Throw up Barger at third base for every game for the rest of the season and see if he can handle it. I mean, you should at least throw him out there more. I don't know if every game, right? Just because you need to get other guys some reps. I mean, I think you want Clement to play certainly as much as humanly possible as well. Again, I think you're still looking to find out a teensy bit more about Ernie Clement, but he's got to play it a little bit. Rob is a big fan of Leo. Leo's got to play a little bit. And he's going to play, he could play at a variety of positions, certainly, but you do have a bit of a logjam in trying to find out as much as possible about a lot of these young guys. Wagner can play at second. He largely plays at second. You might see more DH days for Vladdy down the stretch, so you can get guys like Horwitz at first, Wagner at second, or Schneider at second, or Jimenez at second, or Jimenez at short, or Ernie Clement at short, while someone else like Barger is playing at third. Like, you have a lot of combinations you can throw out there, certainly depending on who the opposing pitcher is, and kind of like mix and match that way to your best abilities. But I am curious to see what Barger's got going forward. Like, he clearly has a rocket launcher for an arm, and he makes the throws from third to first, just generally speaking from third across the diamond. He makes those throws look pretty good. He makes them look pretty effortless. I'll give him some credit. And he's clearly hitting for power. Like, the first time he got called up this year wasn't great. Didn't really acquit himself very well, really struggled to find himself at the plate, and then he got sent down, probably deservingly so. But the second time he got called up, I forget if that was when Kiermaier got injured or if it was when Bo got injured, but he got called up and he has not gone back down since, and he's been playing very, very well. I do wonder how much more we have to see. And you guys can let me know as well. 590, name and location. Here for another 15 minutes or so. If you want to give me a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-866-0590, star 590 on your cell. We'll go to the phones in a sec. But you let me know, like, does Barger have to do more? I tend to believe he will not be like a regular contributor to the lineup next season, I'm thinking. But, and again, like, he's still so young, he could very easily change that as he changed the minds of a lot of people going into his second stint. But I do wonder, honestly, like he has the tools. I just want to see a little bit more consistency. Let's go to the phones. 416-870-0590. 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to Ryan in Innisfil. Ryan, what's up?
Not a whole lot, Joe. How are you doing, man?
Good, man. I'm doing all right. Stay up late, watch the Jays lose. Kind of a tough way to begin your long weekend. But how's it going?
Oh, at least it's consistent.
It's true.
And basically, I'll chime in on the Addison Barger thing quickly since you were asking. In my opinion, I think he'd be a great bench piece for next season. He quite clearly has a gross amount of power. He can just hone that and hit the baseball a little bit more. He'd probably be one of the better players on the team, to be honest, because his defense is wonderful. Sometimes he makes like a really stupid lapse, but outside of those, like one of the best arms in baseball, and he can play numerous positions. I definitely see a spot for him on the team next year if Ross Atkins does his job right. And then second thing I wanted to talk about was sort of just like keep it in the game today as far as the lineup goes. One, why the hell is Bowen Varsho leading off? Why? He's literally batting .214, doesn't get on base. Why is that your leadoff hitter? I'd rather see Nathan Lukes up there. I'd honestly rather see Jimenez up there. I'd rather see almost anybody up there. And then another thing, if he's going to lead off, the fifth inning is where I'm going to go to right now. When Leo Jimenez hit that single and Dalton Varsho didn't lay down a bunt, you kind of know the game's over at that point. He's literally the best in baseball at laying down a bunt. It might not just be advancing a runner. You could also have two runners on base. Why is he not putting the bunt down? I don't understand that. That's just John Schneider being a straight-out goof yet again. I've wanted to stand up for this guy, but he's stuck. I don't understand the way he thinks about baseball.
Let me ask you this, Ryan, just about John Schneider real quick. I'm genuinely curious because you and I have had this conversation before when you've called in about John Schneider, and I know you're not a huge fan. If you had to make the managerial change next year, you think it's someone inside the organization, or do you think they kind of have to go outside the organization?
I got to be honest with you. I think we have to go outside the organization. It's kind of like when you eat your favorite meal over and over again, but then it becomes stale. You kind of have to change it up. What's happening inside our organization right now has gone stale. The culture is stale. And I think it's just time to bring something else in. It doesn't hurt. Like, why? Why aren't we? I really don't get it. Like, I really don't understand it. You can bring in anyone. Bring in a former player. Bring in Joe Madden. Bring in anyone. Just try something new. Because what's in our organization right now is just not cutting it. It's just not cutting it. It's not been cutting it for the entire Bowen Vladdy era. This isn't just a Ross Atkins problem. It's not just a Mark Shapiro problem. It's just a full-out system issue. I don't know how we fix it, but doing the exact same thing over and over again is not the solution. So I got to see John Schneider go, and then obviously if John Schneider goes, that's 4 managers under this current staff.
Yeah.
So they have to go as well. Everyone's been saying, this is not just me. I'm just saying what every single other person that fills that stadium is saying as well. So I don't know. We're all pretty fed up. Why is Dalton Varsho leading off, dude? Come on. Nathan Lucas and his sexy beard should have been the first thing we saw today, not Dalton Varsho. I
do appreciate the call, Ryan. I very much do. And I will say, by the way, as a fellow beard guy, Nathan Lucas did have a very majestic beard. It's true. Tom should grow a beard. Tom's only ever had a mustache. I think you guys should grow beards too. No, Nathan Lucas, I'm not sure I would put him batting leadoff or near the top right away, mainly because I wanted to see him do a little bit more. And actually, you know what? Nathan Lucas made a pretty great catch out there to ultimately save a run. Ultimately, unfortunately, didn't matter because the Blue Jays scored literally no runs in a 2-0 loss. But hey, I mean, it saved a run because if he doesn't make that catch, going off of 1 foot, leaping grab midair, comes back down. There was a sac fly. Santana scores on the sac fly from third, but I mean, I thought that was a very athletic play from a guy. I mean, a 30-year-old, like, again, quote unquote prospect. But yeah, I thought that was very impressive. He gets a hit as well, his first hit of the season in this game. So again, I was like on a very low level impressed by Nathan Lucas, but I'm not sure I would put him leading off. I will say for Dalton Varsho, to give the guy a little bit of a break, he has not been hitting particularly well for the vast majority of the season. I think there was a period of time, if you guys remember, when it was early in the year, might have been in maybe the end of April, beginning of May, thereabouts, when the Jays were on the West Coast. They were playing the Padres in San Francisco, or pardon me, in San Diego at Petco Park. And I think Dalton Varsho, he went yard. He was really hot at the plate. He was making all the plays all around the outfield as he has for so much of the year. And Dalton Varsho, I got to say, Varsho, at the time, we thought had a chance to overcome what we saw last season. And then, like after that, he just didn't really hit very consistently for the rest of the year. He clearly has power, but it's just they have not been able to harness it, again, super consistently. Here's the thing, though. Coming into tonight's game, all right, in the month of August, from August 2nd to August 29th, he has 88 ABs, 99 plate appearances. All right, he has a batting average. He's not hitting a ton. He has 8 RBI and 3 home runs, essentially, in the from August 2nd to 29th. He has a batting average of 284. He's actually getting on base like more than he did for a good chunk of the season. In the month, he has an OPS of 800. That's pretty darn good. I think that's why I think they're trying to get something from Varsho, right? I think that really is. I think in an ideal lineup, I think Ryan is absolutely correct. In an ideal lineup, you're not batting Varsho 2, for example. Or, pardon me, tonight he was batting leadoff because George Springer wasn't in the lineup. But if Springer was batting today, you'd probably have seen some Varsho bat 2 because we've seen that a lot recently, I would say. Pretty recently. But if that's the case, then, if as Barker wants the 2 thumpers, as he's been saying, if you get 2 thumpers, you can construct your lineup a little more traditionally. Like you're probably still putting George Springer leadoff if he's comfortable there. And again, I don't think that's a fait accompli. It's like not a done deal necessarily. But I think if you're talking about next year's lineup and it's Springer 1, Vladdy 3, then ultimately what you're going to do is you can easily put in someone else up there batting number 2. You can get someone behind Vladdy to help him a little bit, to help him see some better pitches, more quality pitches, let's say, for Vladdy. I think that would solve a lot of the problems because then, again, I've said this a million times about Varsho, even if he is streaky, even if you're not getting what you've gotten from Varsho in August for much of the season, you can get by with that. You just can't have him be one of like 6 guys who are hitting like that, which is what you've seen from the Jays for most of the season, right? But I think that's why ultimately it's tough for Varsho because he's kind of stuck in a place where he probably shouldn't be, but there's not a lot of choices to be putting up there. Again, I don't know if the alternative is Lucas, and I'm generally fine with it for a couple of days, but you're right. I mean, if you're looking at a team that has more power available to them, I'd probably go elsewhere. 590, name and location. There was a text here. Here it is from Steve in Toronto. Steve says, who do you think the Jays will call up in September for the 2 additional roster spots? That's from Steve. I think it's a good question, mainly because there are a lot of options. I mean, Lucas actually would have been a pick of mine because I wanted to see him be called up for such a long period of time, largely because he's been hitting pretty well in the minors. And again, Dan Schulman was talking about this with Ailish and Jesse earlier on the fan pregame here in Toronto. But, Dan made the good point that ultimately Nathan Lucas probably got squeezed a little bit because of the left-handedness of his bat, right? You got Kiermaier, who was left-handed at the time. We're talking about the spring now, but Kiermaier, Varsho, both left-handed. So if you're pinch hitting for any of those guys, you probably actually do want a right-handed bat, right? Springer obviously is in there as well, who is a right-handed bat, but I think that probably harmed him. So he didn't really have a lot of chances to get called up. David Schneider was the 4th outfielder for much of the year, and then he kind of only really struggled starting in June. And then when there was finally a chance for Lucas to get called up, he had the thumb injury, and then he got injured, essentially. So I do wonder, ultimately, who could replace him now that he has been called up. I kind of wonder if it's an easier conversation just because Bo's still on the IL. Like if you don't bring Bo back until September, I mean, September starts on Sunday, and Bo almost certainly is not going to be back with the Jays by Sunday. So if he's not back for another week or week plus, in theory, I would think you could just call up, like bring Bo back to the roster and just call up one more guy, right? Like you could just make the decision, Bo and someone. And that someone could be an Alan Roden. It could be a Josh Kasevich. Could be a Jonathan Clase. I kind of think it might be Clase, honestly. Like he's one of their highest ranked prospects immediately, right after they got him in the trade. So if that's the case, then I kind of wonder if it could be Clase. Maybe if you feel that's too much of the same kind of thing, because Lucas is still up here, Lucas could always go back down. Roden has been hitting the cover off the baseball, certainly, so he could get a look. And I know a lot of people would ask, well, what about pitchers? Certainly Jake Bloss, there's a chance for Jake Bloss to come up here as well. So I'm a little less bullish on Jake Bloss, if only because the last time out a couple nights ago, 1 2/3, 8 earned runs, over 60 pitches thrown. Not great. So I think ultimately maybe we don't see Jake Bloss right away. I suppose there's still a real good chance you see Jake Bloss before the end of the season. But ultimately, I'm going to say you probably see more position players right now. I do wonder how the Blue Jays will handle the pitching rotation, the starting rotation going forward, because they have been pretty adamant that they do want more of a rest day for guys, if possible. Like they want to try and give a lot of the guys rest down the stretch. So maybe they do call up Bloss. Maybe it's someone else. Maybe they just roll with Ryan Yarbrough. And frankly, if they roll with Ryan Yarbrough, based on what you've seen from Yarbrough in the last couple of starts, quote unquote starts. I know they're not actual starts, but his last 2 appearances, let's call them. I think I don't know. If it's Burr and Yarbrough to start a game every 6 games going forward. And again, the next week, I think, will prove really interesting to see what they choose to do because of the off day on Monday and the off day on Thursday. But we'll see what they do. But again, if you don't want to go to Bloss, you're probably all right with Burr and Yarbrough. We have a couple minutes left here. Before we go, really quickly on the offense, end of the game, we did see a bit of a battle against the flamethrower Yohan Duran. Will Wagner against Duran was kind of fun to watch. Wagner fouling off some 100+ mile-an-hour pitches, some fastballs, and then he gets aboard with the single. I think there's still some more there from Will Wagner ultimately when it comes to what you can get from him going forward. Again, I just kind of like we laid out with all the log jam in the infield. How much are you really going to see any of them pitch going forward? Or pardon me, any of them play in the field going forward? Because you need to find spaces for Horwitz, Wagner, let's say Javis Schneider, if you want to see him play a little bit more, Ernie Clement, Leo Jimenez. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to find a spot for all of them. But I would like to see a little bit more from Will Wagner. I don't know if that means DHing Vladdy a little bit and then going to Horwitz at second, or Horwitz at first, pardon me, and then Will Wagner at second. I think I'd be okay with that. But hey, I appreciate the call, certainly from Ryan. Appreciate all the texts, lots of texts tonight. Certainly keep those coming whenever we're on. We're back tomorrow. Appreciate you being with me on Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Brockville and Cornwall, Ontario. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. For Ben Schulman, Chris LaRue, Tom Young, Nick Blackmore, I'm Show. That does it for us. Like I said, we are out of here. I'm actually here all weekend long with Nick Ashbourne. He's with me Saturday and Sunday. But hey, wherever you are, enjoy the start of your long weekend, everyone. Make it a good one. To wrap up August, we're back tomorrow. Talk to you later.
This has been Major League Baseball play-by-play on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game. It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet.
Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
It is bedlam at the bank as Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball's high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
The ball of